All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this afternoon's NASCAR Xfinity Series coverage, live flag-to-flag content for you guys on the Saturday afternoon as we have the running of the Cabo Wabo 250 at the Michigan International Speedway. We're running out of races in the regular season for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Coming into today's race, here is the point standings. Austin Hill taking the points lead away from John Hunter Nemechek last weekend at Road America. Nemechek ended up crashing out in the middle going of that race. Austin Hill was able to get a pretty decent finish despite running into trouble throughout the course of the day himself. Just by staying out of trouble, he is back on top, has a 14-point lead, and Justin Allgaier, who won the first two stages of last week's race, is now only 40 points out of first, also in contention for that regular season title. Both Hill and Nemechek with 4 wins apiece, Allgaier with 1, and we have still playoff spots obviously on the line coming into the race today as well. The drivers locked into the playoffs with wins in the Xfinity Series would include Austin Hill with, again, 4 wins. John Hunter Nemechek with 4, tied for the most on the season. Justin Allgaier with the 1 win, as well as Sam Mayer, Chandler Smith, and Sammy Smith, each with 1 win. Jeb Burton has a win at Talladega, and then also Cole Custer with 2 wins on the season. He's been slipping back in the regular season standings as of late, but having a good season nonetheless, looking for more playoff points. This is the 21st race of the season. That means we have 6 races to go until the playoffs for the Xfinity Series. Here is the points deficit and/or points increments for the drivers just below and just above that cutoff line that are not locked in because they don't have a win yet in 2023. Josh Berry has 107 points to the good coming into this race here today. He has the most points of any in the NASCAR Xfinity Series without a win, and he is also sitting 5th in the regular season standings, as that is important because, again, the top 10 get playoff points for the regular season based off your points finish as well. So he's got a chance to honestly move up as high as 3rd if Allgaier has some problems, as well as Cole Custer, as well as, of course, Berry trying to capitalize on some good performances also. Daniel Hemrick comes into this race 74 points to the good. It's over 1 full race ahead of the cutoff line, so as long as we don't get any different winners from below the cutoff line, looking pretty good for him. Riley Herbst is plus 25 points. He didn't have a great day at Road America, but great resiliency nonetheless, and he actually ended up moving up 1 spot in standings from 11th to 10th in the regular season, and of course for the playoff grid from 12th to 11th. 22 points to the good. Sheldon Creed is the last driver above the cutoff line into this race today, and Parker Kligerman is the man chasing him at 22 points back, and the first driver below the cutoff line. Brandon Jones, minus 61, just over 1 full race worth of points out. He's going to need a lot of help if he's going to point his way in, nearing a must-win situation, as well as Brett Moffitt, Kaz Gralla, Ryan Sieg, and others throughout the rest of the points order. Got Dale Jr. and Jeb Burton on the racetrack in one of the corners right now. The race today is on NBC, so your local NBC affiliate will be covering the NASCAR Xfinity race for the 2nd straight weekend. Tomorrow's Cup race will be on the USA Network. This is our first and only live commentary stream of the weekend. I will be at the NASCAR Cup Series race at Michigan tomorrow. And with that being said, again, no live commentary stream for the Cup race tomorrow. Apologize for that, but hey, I want to go to the race in person. It's only the 2nd race I've been able to go to this year. With that being said, there will be race highlight videos from the grandstands. Usually I upload them when I get back to the hotel. Because I only live about 45 to 50 minutes from the racetrack, I'll be driving home after the race, so it might be up a little bit later after the race than what you would usually see when I'm on the road going to races in person. So you can look out for that tomorrow. If you are here today listening to this live commentary stream, enjoy. And we're going to have some fun racing over the next couple of hours. Wade Zielinski, Billy Kramer, Terry Lewis, Mark DeMars, and others, welcome into the stream. You guys are the first in the chat down below. Appreciate it. Now, we're going to have kind of a shorter stream in the sense that we're not going to talk too much about the finish of the race at the very end. Granted, for the NASCAR Truck and Xfinity races, I don't anyway, but I'm actually going to SummerSlam in Detroit tonight. So I need to hustle out of here as soon as this race is over. Hopefully we don't have a lot of cautions, and I'm hoping it'll be over about 5:30ish, so that way it gives me about 2.5 hours to find parking, get to the event. I live, they're in Ford Field in Detroit tonight, and with that being said, I live like maybe 45, 50 minutes from there, so got about 45, 50 minutes, probably 2 to 2.5 hour window, so as long as I can find parking quick enough, I think I'll be okay. Which is why we are still doing the live commentary stream today. Chris Davis, thanks for tuning in. Or was I biting? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. I wasn't biting anything. Alright. I had to connect to the 5G, so it might have been lagging there a little bit. The lag should be fixed. I don't know why I had it set on my normal Wi-Fi, which is not 5G internet. This is, so we should be good to go now. I'll refresh the page just to make sure, but yeah, sorry if there was a little bit of a buffer going on over the last 5 minutes or so since we started the stream. Drivers are already in their cars already, so, and not only in their cars, but they're actually rolling off of pit road as I speak. So with that being said, we are going to be racing here very shortly. 250 miles, 125 laps will be the scheduled distance in tonight's race. Pit road speed, 45 miles per hour. Pre-race interview with Josh Berry.
Not only yesterday, but over the last 3 weeks, Junior Motorsports has shown a lot more speed with the cars you're bringing to the racetrack. So you've got that in line.
Never mind.
What else is it going to take? What challenges does this racetrack present for you to get that first win today?
Yeah, never mind. They are talking Josh Berry.
Yeah, obviously it's a tough place. The track position is going to be important. So, we need to do everything we can to stay up front while we got it here. But, yeah, man, just a big credit to everybody back at Junior Motorsports, Hendrick Motorsports for everything they've done with our engine program. It's been really strong the last few weeks. So we're all working hard, and we feel like that if today's not the day, our day is coming, and we're just going to try to do the right thing.
Hey, Josh, you're known as a short track racer that came up through the ranks here. Still not a ton of starts on racetracks like this. What are the things that caught your attention and that you had to learn the most from that short track background?
I don't know. It's just the intermediates have been pretty good to me for some reason. So I think just how I see these racetracks has helped me out even with my background. So really the most important thing is that I've been really fast race cars. So we've had some good luck here over the last couple of years to have a lot of speed. So we're going to keep after that, and we just need to execute all day on pit road, and got a great pit crew down there that's done a great job all year, and we just got to try to stay up front.
All right, Josh. Thanks for talking with us. Have a great day out there.
Thanks, man.
Well, DJ, he's right. He's got a great car. We saw a lot of speed in practice, and then, of course, winning the pole and qualifying, and now he'll start up front and see if he can keep it up front for his potential first win of the 2023 season. Want to take a look at today's starting grid, brought to you by Cabo Wabo. And up front, as we mentioned, Josh Berry, the 32-year-old out of Hendersonville, Tennessee, got his third pole. It's been the second in the last 3 races, so showing a lot of speed as of recently. And look back in row 4, the 77 driven by Carson Hocevar. He lives about an hour and a half from here. He's from Portage, Michigan, and the 20-year-old making a few starts in the Xfinity Series. Definitely one of the more talented drivers behind the wheel.
Yeah, Rick, so we go to row 6 there. We have to look at Ross Chastain. Always fast, always highly entertaining. See what he can do here against the Xfinity regulars today. And you go down just a little bit. That 9 car, Brandon Jones, really needs a win if he's going to find himself in the playoffs, which are coming up really quickly.
Back here at row 11, you look at Kyle Sieg and Ryan Sieg, 2 brothers, Kyle the younger of the 2 brothers. And actually, their hauler broke down yesterday before it got here to the track. And so they got here just minutes before practice and qualifying got underway. But impressive performance getting both of those cars in row 11.
Yeah, we go down through here and we see the name Sage Karam. Remember what a great race he ran last week. Looked like it might be that first Xfinity win for him. Today's going to be a lot tougher for him, obviously starting near the back.
We'll actually go through the full starting lineup ourselves. I usually do. I was just making sure I put the poll up in the chat real quick because I didn't have it before the start of the stream, but I had it before the start of the race, which is all that matters. So I asked you guys who you think will win today's NASCAR Xfinity race. The votes are between Josh Berry, who's the pole sitter, Justin Allgaier starting to the outside of the front row, and points leader Austin Hill. You can pick other if you don't think any one of those 3 will win. We'll close the poll at the end of stage 2 per usual. Philip Moore, Patrick Shadley, Frank Powers, also welcome into the stream. Good to know. Audio visuals are good. Expected them to be. So we will go through that starting lineup for today's Cabo Wabo 250 at Michigan. Josh Berry going to be on the pole for this one, as just mentioned. Justin Allgaier to the outside of the front row. Allgaier came so close to winning at Road America last week after leading the most laps and winning the first 2 stages. Looking to go to victory lane for the second time of the season this year. And Berry still looking for that first win for himself in the 8 car before he moves to Cup, replacing Kevin Harvick full-time in 2024. Points leader Austin Hill on the inside of row 2. Sam Mayer, last week's Road America winner in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, will start to his outside. Riley Herbst and Chandler Smith will be in row 3. Smith looking for his 3rd win of the year, and Riley Herbst sitting right now on the bubble for the playoffs, plus 25 points. Carson Hocevar, full-time regular in the Truck Series, making an Xfinity Series start once again for Spire Motorsports in the 77. He's been strong this year in his few starts. He's looking for another solid top 5 finish. And Ty Gibbs, Cup Series regular, will be to his outside. Of course, defending Xfinity Series champ will be in the 19 car for JGR. Sammy Smith and John Hunter Nemechek, 2 other JGR Toyotas, will start behind him in row 5. Row 6 will be Ross Chastain and Brett Moffitt. Chastain, of course, Cup Series regular, one of 2 Cup regulars in the field today. Former Cup regular Cole Custer and now Xfinity Series regular once again will be in the inside of row 7, and Brandon Jones to his outside. Jones minus 61 points and looking to make the playoffs in his first season with Junior Motorsports. Has had an abysmal year to say the least, looking to turn it around this afternoon. Sheldon Creed and Daniel Hemrick will be in row number 8. Sheldon Creed is the last driver above the cutoff line coming into the day today. Of course, his teammate leading the point standings, so sure Childress would like to get both of his cars in the Xfinity Series playoff field this year. Parker Kligerman, Anthony Alfredo, row 9. Kligerman, last driver, or first driver, I should say, below the cutoff line. Minus 22 points to Creed coming into the race. Those 2 starting near each other. Should be a fun battle to watch throughout the day. Connor Mosack, Kyle Weatherman will be in row 15. Row 16, Kyle Sieg, Ryan Sieg. Row 17, Jeb Burton, Parker Retzlaff. Couple teammates there in both of those rows. Kaz Gralla, Garrett Smithley will be in row 13. Row 14, Jeremy Clements, Joe Graff Jr. Josh Williams, Stephen Parsons in row 15. Mason Maggio, Dawson Cram in row 16. Row 17 will be Sage Karam and Jeffrey Earnhardt. Row 18, Ryan Ellis, Patrick Emerly, Brennan Poole, Blaine Perkins will be in row 19. That'll round out our 38-car field today for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. I do not have the raw feed up and running right now. For whatever reason, the raw feed is not working. Oh my gosh, dude, that dog better shut up. Hopefully, it doesn't bother you guys too much. Pace car is already in. Green flag is waving, and the Junior Motorsports Chevrolets will lead us to the green, and we are racing for day 1 of this NASCAR race weekend at Michigan International Speedway. Josh Berry elected the outside lane for the start. It'll be Justin Allgaier who rocket ships his way by his teammate on the inside of turns 1 and 2 before sliding up in front of him, and Allgaier from second place will have the lead down the backstretch. Berry took a peek to the inside but couldn't keep the straightaway speed up. He'll hop back in the draft, which is going to be very important down these long straightaways around this 2-mile oval at Michigan. Sam Mayer lifting in the dirty air, running the same line behind his teammate Josh Berry in 3rd. And that extra lift allowed for the 21 of Austin Hill to get to his inside. He is not going to side draft him aggressively off turn 4, but they'll still be door-to-door as they head for the start-finish line. Opening lap of the race led by the guy who led the most laps last weekend, Justin Allgaier, in the 7 car. 1, 2, 3 at the front of the field at the line for Junior Motorsports. Berry and Mayer, of course, closely behind Allgaier. Austin Hill, 0.8 of a second off the race lead, was able to get in line behind Mayer in the middle of turns 1 and 2 that last lap. Parker Kligerman trying to pass the guy he's chasing right now for the last playoff spot on points. Sheldon Creed in the 2 car right there with him. Riley Herbst getting a little loose in the middle of turns 3 and 4. Able to get himself back in line. Mostly single file. You don't usually see that tame of a start or restart at Michigan, but of course with it being the early going of this race today, drivers just trying to get their feet wet in the early laps around this racetrack. Once they get in a rhythm here towards the end of this first stage, the intensity I'm sure will ramp up on the restarts to come later on in this race. 30 laps is the distance in stages 1 and 2, and the final stage will be 65 laps today. They do not have to make a green flag pit stop in the first 2 stages, but they will have to make a green flag pit stop at some point in the final stage. More than likely, that is. Allgaier leading the first 3 laps of this race at the start-finish line now. Sammy Smith trying to look to the inside on the front stretch and nearly makes contact with Carson Hocevar, almost too aggressive in the side drive. And I do think they made contact as it looks like there may be a donut mark on the right front area of that 18 car of Sammy Smith, who was on the inside of Carson Hocevar. And he was not able to make the pass. That contact definitely slowed him down. Side draft slowed both cars down as well. 3 wide outside the top 20 around Brandon Jones, Ryan Sieg, and Anthony Alfredo. They all battle for about 22nd on the racetrack. Been a rough season for Brandon Jones. Qualified much worse. And we got a car around. Off turn 4, the 26. Kaz Gralla is sliding on the front stretch. Down towards the grass he goes. Hopefully he didn't tear the splitter up too much. It did seem to dig in just a little bit. But he was at a very slow rolling pace at the time of the slide. And he may be okay. Damage-wise, he should be okay. And he will be able to continue on. Car slipped out from underneath him, and he had a car to his outside. Did a great job not making contact with Parker Kligerman, and as did Sheldon Creed not making contact with the back of the 26 car. There was definitely no contact that caused the spin from Kaz Gralla, so we should not have a caution. I would like to think that would be we shouldn't see him out of the race is what I meant to say. Obviously, we're under caution. That slide. Early spin, lap 4, first caution of the race. Hopefully it will not be the first of many. For the reasons I stated in the pre-race, I kind of need to get out of here as soon as I can. As soon as this race is done. And once again, I will be at the Cup Series race tomorrow. So no live commentary for tomorrow's race, but there will be race highlight videos from the grandstands, which will always be fun to upload. Joanne C., Brandon Martinez, Kenneth Clark, also welcome into the stream here. Over the recent laps, Earl Arnold Jr., welcome also. Early poll votes. 18 votes have been casted. And right now you guys say somebody other than Barry, Allgaier, or Hill will win. Although it's a very close poll between Other and Barry. 39% for Other, 33% for Josh Berry, who fell to second after Allgaier leads the first couple laps. Now, it does look like there is a bit of damage on the right front tire. I almost wonder if you might have flat spotted the right front tire, and it might be cording on the inside of that tire wall, because it does seem like the hood is kind of bouncing quite a bit on the right side of the race car for Kaz Gralla, so hopefully he can get to pit road without it tearing up too much equipment. Yeah, no running order, unfortunately. This is the 3rd week in a row there's been an issue in NASCAR's website with the live leaderboard at the start of the race, and usually it comes up anywhere between the end of stage 1 to the midway point. I wish I had more control over it, but I unfortunately do not, so that is why there's no live leaderboard for now, but it will be back up and running, hopefully sooner rather than later, but it definitely will be back up and running once again at some point in time. And my dog is peeing on the carpet. I let her out like 20 minutes ago, and she's still. It's probably why she was whining at me. I kind of figured. I couldn't take her back out again. Oh my goodness. I literally. This is tough. I mean, this is exactly why I shouldn't get left alone on race day with the little doggo. She's just a puppy too, so that's the hardest thing. It was not my decision. That's all I'll say about that. That's all I have to say about that. That was a terrible Forrest Gump impersonation, by the way. Got just over 60 people watching already. Appreciate that. 100 likes is the goal on the Xfinity Series stream per usual. We did not get to our goal last week. We were very close at Road America. I think we were like 10 short. So let's make sure we get to that goal today, especially with this being the only live commentary stream of the weekend. And she's like wanting my attention. She obviously went potty already, so I mean that. Not really anything I can do there. This is something else. Interesting start to this race, to say the least. Both at the track and at my apartment. And digitally, of course, with no live leaderboard, so that stinks. Again, that should be up some point in time. Still under a commercial break right now following this first caution of the day. Lap 4 off of turn 4. Kaz Grala spun after getting loose. Car slipped out from underneath him. Was able to save the race car after sliding down into the grass. Splitter dug in just a little bit. Hopefully it doesn't have too much damage. I'm sure it might affect the aero of this race car with how fast this racetrack is. Aero is a very, very big importance. Almost more so here than any other track we go to. I'd say here in Pocono, probably the two most important tracks from an aerodynamic standpoint. What is my opinion about the Big Ten newest members? I don't really have much of an opinion on that. Me being a fan of the University of Michigan, of course, that would be my content, or my team, my conference. I mean, I understand why teams are doing that with the playoff expansion coming up, not this year, but the following year, and I think that's why most of these teams aren't moving over conferences until 2024, too. That, of course, is short notice with the season starting up soon. So a lot of the Pac-12 teams are going to other conferences, so that way their chances of making the playoffs, I think, would be better. I would imagine with 18 teams that they're probably not going to have non-conference games anymore. You would think. I mean, just have like 12 conference games, and that's your schedule throughout the year. But on the flip side of that, that does hurt the smaller schools because they get a huge revenue when they go up. Like Michigan plays like Bowling Green State University this year, which in reality is a pretty short bus ride. I mean, they only maybe an hour and a half from each other at the furthest schools. I think they play Eastern Michigan this year too, which is even closer of a bus drive. So it does hurt the smaller schools from a funding standpoint because they do get paid a lot for that, and they might not have that opportunity anymore, which would also hurt the chances of a smaller school getting into the playoffs, where the whole reason that there was the expansion, I feel like, was so you could have that like wild card team potentially get in like a Cincinnati. But now all these wild card teams are moving to the bigger conferences anyway. So, and then all these bigger conferences are getting bigger. Not only with some of the smaller schools going there, but also with some of the bigger schools. So I mean, yeah, I don't like it. I personally don't like it, but I'm also old school. I like nostalgia. So changing it from its current form. I mean, the playoffs in general, like college sports, are like the one sport I feel like, or at least college football, for instance, the way their playoff is, I think is better personally than a lot of other sports because not a lot of teams get in, but there's so many more teams than what you have in professional sports leagues that at the same time, to crown a champion, you almost have to have some sort of a playoff format. So, yeah, it is what it is. Through the Geico restart zone now. Justin Allgaier on the outside of the front row, despite taking the lead on the bottom, gets a great push from Sam Mayer as the green flag is back in the air again. Gibbs went to go to the outside 3 wide, and as soon as he tried to pull back in line, Carson Hocevar had the spot filled up, and they nearly made contact. Middle of turns 1 and 2, still door-to-door for the race lead right now. Josh Berry slips up the racetrack, and he is not going to be able to get in front of the 7. He drops in line behind him instead, and Allgaier's got about a 3 to 4 car length lead down the back into turn 3. Goat X Kyle Lance, thanks for tuning in as well. Big slide up the racetrack by Sam Mayer as he gets up into the marbles. He did keep it off the outside wall. Great save as we continue to stay green. He's going to lose a lot of positions and a lot of momentum down the front stretch as everybody's still zooming around him. 3 wide now back around Sam Mayer, Brandon Jones. Brett Moffitt in the mix. Looked like he had to lift up out of the gas, and the 16 car nearly got into him. Definitely took the air off the rear spoiler with how close he was. And now there's more contact up turn 2. Big hit. Heavy damage on the 77. And the 18 is around. There's 2 Joe Gibbs Toyotas that are in it. Sammy Smith blasted the right rear corner panel of the 77 of Carson Hocevar, who went spinning down in front of him after what looked to be contact between Hocevar and Nemechek, and Nemechek also went spinning down towards the inside retaining wall. Mason Maggio's flat spotted the left side tires on his race car. We're under caution again. Our second one, and a pretty big impact between the 77 of Carson Hocevar, who has heavy damage around that right rear tire well as the left front of Sammy Smith's race car. Waiting to see the replay of exactly what took place that caused the incident, but off of turn 2, and it looks to be a 4-car crash. Ty Gibbs is also on pit road. He might have ran over some debris. There was a lot of debris being spread as parts and pieces were flying everywhere off of Hocevar's race car. Nemechek got into the back of Ty Gibbs. I didn't even see Gibbs sliding. So Nemechek gets into the back of Gibbs, turns him around. Nemechek spun behind him because he then got hit by Sammy Smith. So all 3 Joe Gibbs Toyotas were taken out in the incident. And then Carson Hocevar, of course, as well. The innocent bystander behind those cars as he tried to miss to the bottom, and it was just a little too late. They were so close nose to tail. Really, all 3 of those cars were so close nose to tail that just a slight bit of a hiccup, if somebody's got to lift up out of the gas, you have no time to really try to keep from getting into the back of that car, especially at these high-rated speeds. And Hocevar's right rear tire basically ran up over the left front of Sammy Smith's car as he came down the racetrack. And that caused the right side tires to come up off the ground and almost toppled Hocevar over. Hate to see that many good race cars get taken out of it this early in the race, but problems with all 3 Joe Gibbs Toyotas. Now, there is only severe damage on Sammy Smith's car. Right rear tires rolling away on Hocevar's race car as he went to leave his pit box. He's going to have to back in again. It's only going to add insult to injury there. Nemechek should be able to continue. I would like to think that Ty Gibbs should be able to continue as well. He didn't really make much contact with anything. He may have lightly scraped the wall with the back of his race car. So 5-car incident there. Maggio, Gibbs, Nemechek, Hocevar. Maggio was in it there at the end. He kind of spun trying to miss the incident. Sammy Smith's out of his race car, so his day's definitely come to an end. And I would imagine Hocevar's is going to come to an end as well. They may try to make up another lap just to make sure he passes Sammy Smith in the running order, but I doubt that he's going to be able to continue further than that. And even if he meets minimum speed, that car is going to be basically junk, and he's going to be off the pace the rest of the day. All those cars are running inside the top 10, and this was only the second lap following the restart. Again, that incident took place in turn 2. Second week in a row, Nemechek's been involved in an incident. Last week, again, he lost the points lead after getting into multiple incidences in Stage 2, which then retired him from the race in the third one. Ty Gibbs went past the 20 car under caution there, and it looked like he may have given him the one-finger salute out the driver's side window net. He definitely had his hand out the window. They showed the in-car cam as Gibbs was passing the 20 of Nemechek, and not too thrilled with the contact made from behind him. Tough to tell what the throttle input might have been there from Gibbs, but he definitely had contact from behind from John Hunter Nemechek, which caused the incident. Sammy Smith is taking the trip to the infield care center. Mandatory, of course. He got out under his own power as he walked behind the pit wall from his pit box. Ty Gibbs back on his way to pit road again to make repairs. They did have some bear bond taped to the left rear corner panel of Gibbs' race car, which was where the contact had taken place. And of course, again, Gibbs may have got a piece of that outside wall as well. But again, we are under caution. Second time back-to-back yellows here at Michigan for the NASCAR Xfinity Series Cabo Wabo 250. All 3 Joe Gibbs Toyotas get together, as well as Carson Hocevar making a start for Spire Motorsports. Major damage that has taken Hocevar and Smith out of the race. John Hunter Nemechek went sliding to the infield, kept it off the wall luckily. And then Ty Gibbs will contact the outside wall. Both the 19 and the 20 should be able to continue. They will obviously lose their track position to be at the tail end of the lead lap for the ensuing restart, but both cars actually initiated the contact, which started the accident, yet they are the two that have the least amount of damage. Pretty hard impact around the part of the race car where Hocevar got hit. Obviously not bad that it's going to ding up Hocevar in any way, but it almost toppled his race car over as the right rear tire ran up over the left front splitter, left front tire area of the 18 car of Sammy Smith, who again spun down the track off turn 2 in front of him. And it was so quick, so fast that Hocevar had half of it miss and got clipped right in the rear, which set the right side tires up off the ground. He basically just ran over the front of Smith's race car. Crazy scene there, but everybody will be all right. And hopefully we can get back to green flag racing here shortly. There was a lot of debris being laid down, so I would imagine that this is going to be a fairly lengthy cleanup. Because again, we are under caution. See if the live leaderboard is up and running once again. And it is. So we do have our live leaderboard up now. It was not working at the start of the race, but it is up and running now, it appears. Well, maybe not. It showed him on the pace laps still, which that is not the case. It's close to running. Yeah, I'm not sure why Noah Gragson got suspended, by the way. I saw that literally right before I started the live stream. That was the headline. I have no clue why. I guess we can look that up while we're under caution. I mean, why not? So I kind of want to find out. On. So our NASCAR's website is all sorts of jacked up. I don't even know who's racing for him tomorrow in replace of him. Where do I see that at? Noah Gragson suspended by Legacy Motor Club. So he was suspended by the team. Josh Berry is supposed to fill in for him. So Josh Berry will be filling in for Noah Gragson tomorrow. I think it was for... No, I don't know what it was for, actually. Disappointed with myself, lack of attention and actions on social media. I understand the severity. I have no clue what he did. Honestly, I'm never on Twitter or anything, so oh my goodness. I don't even know. Sounds like we have a gremlin over there. You done? Are you done? I don't know. She's laying down now. I don't know what that was all about. It's the first time I think I've been here while it's just me and the dog during the live stream, and as you can tell, we're having some problems. But yeah, I don't know what he did. I am unaware exactly what Noah Gragson did or said. Yeah, I don't know. Well, it was the team that suspended him, so that doesn't help his chances of keeping the ride next year. It was already looking like he was going to be potentially on his way out with the switch going to Toyota next season. Geraldo Custodio, thanks for tuning in also. Godzilla Legendary 2078, also welcome. NASCAR Vintage 17. Thanks for tuning into the stream. Dog trying to have its own channel. At this point, I mean, she peed on the floor, like right in front of me, to my right. And then she was probably rolling around. I would imagine she was just playing with her toys and she was barking. I'm going to imagine because she's just laying down now. Alrighty. Raw feed leaderboard still down for the time being, but the green flag is back in the air here as we have 15 laps to go. In stage 1, contact off the restart between Chandler Smith and Cole Custer. Custer got to the outside of Smith and Smith just kind of forced him up into the wall. Sure, Custer not too happy about that. Field forms off of turn 2. 3 wide a little bit further back. Around Kligerman, Creed, and Retzlaff. Remember Creed, Kligerman battling for that last playoff spot, so those two started right next to each other, and they're still right next to each other. Kligerman going to clear them. Still 3 wide out of the rear view of the 48 off turn 4. Cars are scrambling everywhere right now in the front stretch, still trying to make passes, get back into line so they don't lose too much momentum. As Austin Hill just did, he was stuck on the bottom off turn 4, but lost probably 3 or 4 spots on the front stretch alone. Pass for third made as well as Chandler Smith slide jobs his way past Sam Mayer. Mayer going to try a crossover back to the inside off of turn number 2 into turn 3. Mayer not going to be able to complete the pass. He's getting pinched down on that inside lane quite a bit by Chandler Smith. Riley Herbst all over the back bumper of his teammate Cole Custer. Going to give him a little bump draft through the tri-oval. Going to push both cars out ahead of Ross Chastain in the 10. Who is in the Colleague Racing Chevrolet today. And again, Mayer back to the inside, trying to get by Chandler Smith. Slides up the hill, almost making contact with Cole Custer now. Austin Hill dives to the inside, 3 wide underneath Mayer and Herbst. Mayer's slide job attempt costed him about 2 to 3 positions that time on the back straightaway, and now Austin Hill's trying to slide up clear. Mayer's going to lift and let the 21 up in line. Hill also going to be able to clear Herbst, and the caution is out again for the 3rd time in stage 1. Not sure what the caution is for this time. Looks like heavy impact for somebody at the tail end of the field. Right side of Mason Maggio's car is absolutely pancaked the turn 2 wall, which has forced us to go under our 3rd caution in the first 20 laps of this 250-mile, 125-lap Xfinity Series race in Michigan. E180 Techno. Okay, I never realized that. Pluto P, thanks for tuning in. Liking an NG meme. Suspended for NASCAR. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I'll have to look that up more in detail sometime later tonight or tomorrow morning. Ethan Chua, thanks for tuning into the stream as well. Definitely a hard hit into the wall. I kind of only saw the tail end of the replay, but just looking at the damage to the right side of the race car, it looked like he probably had a tire go down. He was involved in that incident earlier. I would not be surprised if they didn't pull the fenders out enough on the race car. That's why he had maybe cut a tire, causing him to obviously hit the wall as hard of an angle as he had entered the wall. Kim Kuhn is out of the infield care center with Sammy Smith.
Was there somebody at fault there?
Yeah, I don't know. It looked like John Hunter got tied loose, and when John Hunter went left, I was right there, and Ty was aimed right at me, so I needed to go left, and I guess when I went left, the 77 was there, so I don't know. It's a tough deal. It's frustrating for sure. Everyone at Pilot Flying J, TMT, all safe Peterbilt Group, Toyota, JGR. I thought we had a fast car today. Just been a tough couple weeks.
Is there frustration with teammates, or is everything okay?
I mean, it looked like John Hunter was maybe being a little aggressive there on Ty. I'm not going to point fingers. I don't really have the right to do that, but it's just part of it, I guess.
That is Sammy Smith.
Maybe a little aggressive early between the drivers. So Sammy Smith checked and released from the infield.
John Hunter Nemechek back onto pit road as well right now. A lot of cars have been making pit stops, obviously, from incidences that they may have gotten caught up in earlier. Of course, that 5-car incident that we were just listening to Sammy Smith try to describe after he was involved and taken out from that crash. And I would imagine Carson Hocevar again out of the race as well. Our live leaderboard's not working, so I really don't know if Hocevar's still in or not. I think he is because he's actually scored ahead of Mason Maggio, who had just hit the wall causing this most recent incident. Not sure if he's on the lead lap or not, but needless to say, Hocevar seems to be still in the race, but definitely, again, going to be off the pace with his damage. Sit for Brain, 6 for tuning into the stream as well. We are sitting at 83 concurrent viewers right now that are watching this stream, so appreciate all of you guys tuning in. We have 10 laps to go in Stage 1 right now. In Stage 1, 38, make that 39 likes on the stream as well. Our goal is 100. Saw the impact that time. Definitely a pretty vicious hit there for Mason Maggio. Fast racetrack, we've already seen a couple of severe impacts. One with the wall, a couple different cars getting together pretty heavily already. And again, we're under caution for the third time. We're going to have that Stage 1 break at lap 30 as well. So we're going to have 4 cautions in the first 30 laps of this race the way this pace is going so far. Mike George, also welcome into the stream. I like the that icon, by the way. Is that Rusty Wallace or is that Brad Keselowski? Looks like Rusty, but I know Brad ran a similar paint scheme a couple different times. It looked very similar to the Midnight Rusty Wallace scheme back in the day. Doesn't indicate the number of races Gragson will be suspended for. It's probably indefinite from the team. I would imagine probably just one race. But yeah, Josh Berry in that car now. Good for Berry. Get some extra seat time. I'm curious to see how he runs in the 42. He's ran with Hendrick Motorsports in the 48 and the 9 car earlier this year, but yet to see him with a smaller team. Although I guess he did make a start with Spire Motorsports at Talladega a couple years ago. But I mean, that doesn't really count. It was Talladega. And it wasn't even with the next-gen car. I'm pretty sure that was the first year of the Gen 6. It was the same year, I believe, that he was filling in for Michael Annett late in the season. I think he won the race at Vegas for Annett, subbing for him. And then that next week he had the Cup ride at Dega. Now he'll be full-time in the Cup Series. What a quick change of pace his career has taken place with. Showing an overlook Ford Field. I'm going to be there hopefully sooner rather than later. This is a very slow pace that I did not want to see for this Xfinity race. Again, I am supposed to go to the SummerSlam WWE pay-per-view tonight. I live about 50 minutes south of Detroit. And it starts at 8 o'clock. We are just over 3.5 hours away from the start of that, but we still have over 100 to go here with the 3 very quick cautions in this race. Seen probably 8 or 9 green flag laps at the most. That might even be generous. I don't even think we've seen that much yet in the action. Justin Allgaier has led, I believe, every lap so far as he's got out ahead of every restart and still looking to take control and pick up where he left off at Road America, which is winning the first couple stages of the race. These guys have not burned a lot of fuel, but they should still have to pit for fuel to make it to the end of Stage 2. The closer we get to the end of this stage, though, we may end up seeing some drivers pit early if we get another quick caution. We'll have 7 laps to go in Stage 1 on the restart, based off the way things are looking right now. And our raw feed / live leaderboard still down, I do believe. It will be going back to green flag racing here shortly. It's every time I click the raw feed, it's just showing the that they're on the warm-up laps, which is not the case. So again, hopefully that'll be up somewhere between the end of Stage 1 and the middle laps of the race is when it's been up, when it's been delayed at the start of the race for really any series over the last couple weeks now. Allgaier again in the outside. Green flag back in the air. Cole Custer going to challenge him to the bottom now. Josh Berry actually elected the outside lane behind Justin Allgaier. And we'll see what Hill can do from the inside. Custer, rather, on the inside. Hill to the back of Custer. Makes contact with the 00 in the middle of 1 and 2 just as they were getting up to speed. Custer had a bit of a moment where he got loose, and I don't think Hill lifted until he got into the back of him, and it was almost too late as we nearly had another big crash. Now Custer making some dicey blocks on the backstretch on Chandler Smith before getting into turns 3 and 4, trying to play a little defense on his positioning. These guys are going for everything here in the early laps, and it's been very incidentful throughout. 6 to go, stage 1. Waiting to see if we get a long green flag run in here. I'm sure once we get about 5-6 laps of green flag racing in the field, we'll spread out enough, and they'll probably be not directly on top of each other, but we haven't had enough green flag laps for the field to separate, and even if we do start to get that now, we got a stage break coming in 6 laps, so they'll end up bunching them back together for another restart here shortly following pit stops. They'll have fresher tires, which only means that they're going to probably be even more aggressive. That very first start was so tame until the 26 of Gralla kind of spun from on his own off turn 4, and then as a result ended up causing a couple other cautions after. Well, he didn't cause a couple of cautions, but there were cautions led, being bred basically from the cautions before, drivers being over aggressive on restarts after the fact. Quickly a 1.2 second lead for Allgaier over Berry. Getting out ahead of his teammate pretty quickly. So Berry has tried the outside of row 2 and the inside of row 1 a couple times, and obviously he was a pole sitter and actually elected the outside of row 1 off the start as well, but got taken to school by Allgaier and never got to lead a lap yet. Allgaier has led the first 27. Dale Campbell, welcome into the stream also. Yeah, Carson is still in the race, as far as I know. Jonathan Nemechek's back up to 20th on his drive through the field. Gibbs to 21st right behind him. Restarting back there. Yeah, Hocevar's not only in the race, but still in the lead lap. I would likely imagine that he got the free pass during that last caution after potentially being a lap down. It could be wrong, but he is still in the race, although he's not making his way through the field on the restart quite like the Gibbs cars were, with a lot less damage, of course, than Hocevar from that same incident. As Hocevar's still running just outside the top 30, currently in 33rd. I think he was actually 2 seconds slower than the race leader that last lap, so he's definitely off the pace. It's amazing how close these cars are to one another from bumper to bumper off the exit of the corners, which is why we have seen some spins already. Some of them with contact and some without. It's very easy to take the air off the rear spoiler of the race car in front of you, especially with the Xfinity Series cars and a lot lower downforce and just less overall grip than what you would see in the Cup race tomorrow. Although the Cup Series cars on intermediates, I will say, have had a lot less grip as well. So it'll be interesting to see how tomorrow's race runs. And it's also going to be interesting to see how today's race goes, as well as tomorrow's, if we'll see that lane move up. Because right now, everybody's running kind of a little bit below that traction compound on the outside of the racetrack on both ends in turns 1 and 2 and turns 3 and 4. Nobody really going up into it, maybe with the right sides from time to time, but for the most part, they're all running below it, which has led to the very tight quarter racing that we have seen so far. Parker Retzlaff trying to get his 4 tires up into that traction compound now. He's right behind his teammate, Parker Retzlaff. Jeb Burton. Retzlaff in the 31. Again, he was in the compound. Austin Hill gonna get his right sides into it, but that seems to be about it right now. He's momentum gaining right now on Riley Herbst just in front of him, but he couldn't get to his outside. Now Austin Hill did make a pass on Brandon Jones, who was stuck on the bottom lane near the white line all the way through 1 and 2, so he couldn't get up off the exit of turn 2 quite as well as those cars that were racing above him. Now Hill slingshots down to the bottom on the white line himself, so he tries to make one last pass. That may disallow himself to hang on to the position. Brandon Jones going all the way to the apron 3 wide to try to pass both cars, and I believe he did beat both of them. He beat Hill. He did not beat Herbst. So he did get back around Hill, so Hill's aggression in trying to get 2 spots on that final lap ended up costing him the spot he already gained the corner before the last. And your Stage 1 winner is going to be Justin Allgaier here today at Michigan. Josh Berry ends up in second. I believe Cole Custer third. Could be wrong on the Custer in third. Again, our leaderboard is not working. I do know Austin Hill was fifth. Riley Herbst was fifth. Brandon Jones sixth. Austin Hill was seventh. And again, Justin Allgaier wins stage 1. 8th stage win of the season for Allgaier already. So leading a lot of laps, winning stages, but only one race win. And obviously looking for redemption after a week ago where he probably should have won at Road America. Made a mistake on an overtime restart, which costed him a chance at the win. Was perfect up until he wasn't. And we will take our very first break of this race as they are under a full-screen commercial break here during Stage 1. You're listening live to the Cabo Wabo 250 for the NASCAR Xfinity Series at Michigan on KRC. Be sure to like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Jeff Sperry, welcome into the stream also. Again, end of Stage 2 will be the end of the voting poll right now. Josh Berry leading that poll at 35% of the votes. 54 votes have been casted so far for who you think will win today's race. Justin Allgaier with 28%, Austin Hill with 11%, and other currently sitting at 26% of the votes. So that is where we sit right now. Today's race at Michigan. You're at the end of Stage 1. I'm going to try completely going out of NASCAR's website and then going back into it, see. I mean, that usually doesn't do anything anyway, but I haven't tried it yet like usual. Really want this up for you guys. I mean, that's half of the fun of these live streams. You got half of it listening to my commentary. I'd probably say half of it is listening to the commentary. And then the other half is split 25% between you guys probably communicating with each other in the chat and watching along with the race as a group collectively, and then also looking at the stats linked with the commentary. Give you more lap-by-lap, up-to-date analysis on what's going on all the way through the field.
Insurance. Only pay for what you need. And by Cabo, Wabo, Tequila. Bringing bold taste to Michigan International Speedway. Drink responsibly. Such a beautiful area here around Brooklyn, Michigan, and Michigan International Raceway. There's Jerry's Pub and Restaurant located on Wampler's Lake.
It's a great place.
It is a wonderful place. 780 acres of Wampler's Lake. The deepest part of that lake, 39 feet.
Had a little lunch at Jerry's on Thursday. Very good.
They were very generous, welcoming as we came in with our crew. And we see now, all lined up, getting ready to come to pit road after Stage 1 is complete. Allgaier with Berry right behind him. Again, thanks to Goodyear for this onboard shot of Justin Allgaier as they come onto pit road. They come in front of Kim.
You see Justin Allgaier, top of your screen. He said good in 1 and 2, just a little bit tight in 3 and 4. Overall, the balance good, but he said clean air is absolutely saving me here. They do take an air pressure adjustment on those 4 fresh Goodyear tires. Sunoco fuel going in. Josh Berry saying a 6 out of 10 tight on that machine. Also has a slight vibration as they finish up service, Marty.
13 to 3rd for Cole Custer, who said we're in the mix. Let's keep ourselves in the game here. He said that setup was really good through traffic, but it's really a little bit too tight. When I get out front in clean air, you see other cars flash by. Custer leaves his stall, losing a couple of spots here on pit road.
2-tire stop for Sheldon Creed will actually win him the race out of the pits. Josh Williams goes no tires, and Riley Herbst won the race off pit road. Of those that took 4, Jeb Burton is spun around sideways in his pit box, backwards I should say, so they had to wait to service his race car, so he'll be one of the last out of the pit lane. I would imagine there was probably contact that costed that. Burton is off and away from pit road now. Mark Wachowski also welcome into the stream. He's picking Allgaier Hill and Sieg today. 90 people watching, appreciate that. We're under our 4th caution already of this NASCAR Xfinity Series race. 21st race of the season once again. So just 5 races left until the playoffs after to this. Now the Cup Series race, when that's over tomorrow, we're only going to have 3 races left until the playoffs. A couple guys that actually stayed out of the pits, it looks like. Of course, that ended up topping off on fuel and maybe pitting for tires from the early incidences. So I believe Ty Gibbs and John Hunter Nemechek will be out in front of the field. And they're really only going to have about 6 to 8 lap older tires. So we'll see how well they'll be able to hang on. Not a whole lot of tire degradation at Michigan, but I will say it is slowly turning into that way year after year as we come back to this racetrack every August. "43 minutes from the drop of the green flag already, and we have not even completed that many laps." It's tough. It is a slow rolling pace right now. Fastest lap is a 38.646. That's like the only stat I have for you guys. Kaz Gralla, who also spun early, did stay out of the pits as well again as Ty Gibbs and John Hunter Nemechek. Gibbs will be scored as the race leader when we get back to racing here in this stage.
Strategy, but it's just going to take that one adjustment away. So I think they'll recover and be fine. I do. But are they going to be good enough to outrun Josh Berry or Justin Allgaier, or one of these cars that continue to work on their car each and every pit stop? It's going to be interesting. And this restart with old tires up front, while they're not very old, 20-lap tires are going to have less grip, Ken. It's going to be interesting to see how this restart goes.
And Steve, talking tires, Sheldon Creed only took 2 tires, and that was strictly a strategy call by Jeff Stankiewicz. When I talked with him this morning, he said, we have to start being aggressive in our calls. We have to start doing things differently. We're at the cusp of losing our spot in the playoff picture. So, again, a very aggressive strategy call for Sheldon Creed. We'll see how he fares with 2 tires. They gained 16 positions with that call on pit road, Marty.
Kim, as predicted, John Hunter Nemechek decided to stay out. The men's second, the regular season championship standings. Just checked in with Ben Bayshore, his crew chief. He said, I think grip-wise, we should be fine, I hope, with those 20-lap older tires. The interesting thing, though, how will the teammates race each other? So John Hunter chooses outside. He'll push his teammate Ty Gibbs into turn 1 on this restart. We'll see if the Gibbs cars can keep it up front and get back on the same strategy with everybody else in the field.
Marty, I want to remind everyone about the stage points that the top 10 drivers earn at the end of each stage. And so stage 1 points allocated. Allgaier got 10 for winning the stage, all the way down to Anthony Alfredo getting 1 point for finishing in the 10th position.
All right, so you heard Steve Letarte mention old tires at the front. So let's kind of reset the field. We know that.
Half a lap away from getting back to racing here at Michigan. And we'll start stage 2. As you heard, Sheldon Creed again took 2 tires, right sides only. He'll be on the inside of row 1, though. He's got a couple of the Joe Gibbs Toyotas to his outside who did not take tires. Now, they said they have about 20-lap older tires. As far as green flag laps go, they're probably only sitting on like 6 to 8 lap older tires than the rest of the field, so it's not quite 20-lap older tires. So I don't think it's going to be quite as drastic of a difference. It may play into effect once we get 10 to 15 laps of the run. I'm sure they'll settle in. I don't think they're just going to continuously drop back throughout the course of this. If I'm wrong, we'll see, but I would still like to think that that would be the case. Ross Chastain came back to pit road right before the green. He's still trying to catch up with the rear end of the field as the leaders hit the Geico restart zone and begin stage 2 at Michigan. We are going to have 24 laps left of green flag racing in this second stage when we get to the turn 1 entrance here. Creed may have Gibbs cleared on the bottom. Nope, not quite. He does have maybe a little bit more grip, taking the right sides versus no tires at all, which definitely helped the fire off. He did split the Joe Gibbs Toyotas up as he slides in front of Nemechek. He just couldn't quite clear the 19 of Ty Gibbs. Pretty good taking that inside lane. Austin Hill moving up into the traction compound with all 4 tires. One of the first cars on 4 fresh Goodyears. 4 wide off the exit of turn 4 now. Contact made between Brandon Jones and another car to his middle. Right on the right side of his race car, I believe it was Josh Williams in the 92 who had also stayed out of the pits. Actually, he topped off on fuel, but he didn't take any tires. That's why Williams is going backwards on the restart. The contact, of course, of Brandon Jones didn't help him. Kept enough control of his race car, though, that we continue to stay green, which we haven't seen a lot of green flag racing here. Nearly 200 miles per hour into turn 3 in the draft for Parker Kligerman. Radar gun had him at 199. Big moment for Kligerman as well that I didn't really see off turn 2 showing the replay. Had to lift. Otherwise, he probably would have ended up getting into the wall off turn 2. So definitely pushing tight. And we are under caution again. Another car has cracked the wall in turns 1 and 2. And this time it's the 24 of Connor Mosack. Of course, Sage Karam was in that car last weekend for Sam Hunt Racing. Ended up coming up with a top 5 finish. Career best for Karam last week at Road America, in fact. And unfortunately, the driver replaced him for this weekend on a part-time basis is Connor Mosack, who has also driven the 19 car at times for Joe Gibbs Racing this season. And Mosack, of course, early incident here. Turn 1, a lot of damage. There was definitely contact with another car. He was on the inside of somebody getting into turn 1. I'm not sure if he moved up thinking that car wasn't there, or somebody had turned down and clipped him trying to make it into the corner. But it was definitely just before the off-throttle portion of turn 1. So, mistake that definitely could have been avoided. More severe damage on Mosack's car.
It was either Kyle or maybe Graf in the 38. We'll have to take a look. But there's definitely going to be a little damage to the left from the car that was on the right side of 24 here.
And so the start of this race, from the very beginning, it has been run a few laps, green, and then caution comes out with spins. No consistency yet. Great history here at Michigan International Raceway, though. Open wheel racing, stock car racing. History of racing in Michigan very deep, just outside of the backyard of the manufacturers.
Full screen commercial break right now during this caution at lap 40. Again, it's our 5th caution of the race today, our first for incident already in stage 1. Our leaderboard is not accurate right now. It's still scoring us on the pace laps for the start of this one. Again, I do apologize for that. I hate to keep repeating myself, but probably have new viewers every couple seconds. So, raw feed down for the start of this race. If you've been watching these live commentary streams over the last couple of weeks, that has been the case for the NASCAR Truck Xfinity and the Cup Series races. It happened with all 3 races last week. I think New Hampshire, it only happened with the Cup race. And then, obviously, here for this Xfinity race today. Now, there, again, will be no live commentary stream. I put up a community tab post as to why for tomorrow. I will be at the Michigan International Speedway for tomorrow's Cup Series race. There will be race highlights from the grandstands. For those of you that are newer to the channel, since the last race I went to was back in the spring at Talladega, it's been a little bit since I've been to a race this season. And it is only the 2nd race this year. So if you are unfamiliar, I bring my camera with me, take some videos from the racetrack, from the grandstands, give you guys a good point of view from the stands of the highlights of the race. Usually it's a 20 to 30 minute compilation video of just what went down during the race, and I'll also upload some individual videos throughout the course of the event as well. All videos will be uploaded when I get back to my apartment following the race. I live about 45 minutes or so south of the Michigan International Speedway, so instead of at a hotel within 10 miles or so, as usual when I travel to tracks, it's going to take me a little bit longer to get home tomorrow night. So bear with me, but I will stay up and have those out and ready to go as soon as I get back. So hopefully you guys hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of those uploads, because you'll definitely want to tune in, and that'll be tomorrow's Michigan International Speedway Cup Series content on the channel as well. Leaderboard saying 0. I don't know. I don't know why it's not working. Hit the like button, cheap price of admission. Yeah, the cheap price of $0.00 to watch today's live stream. It's free. Hit the subscribe button. It is free. Helps the channel out a ton. We're on the road to 5,000 subscribers, and we should get there before the end of the season. But obviously, the sooner we get there, the sooner we can get the next goal started and keep growing this channel here. Appreciate you guys listening to my coverage of the race every single weekend.
Take a look at our Toyota driver updates as Gibbs running up front. John Hunter Nemechek second. And yes, that was how they were running when the issue happened earlier in the race. Kaz Grala, Mozak, and Sammy Smith. You see the positions they were in. So this is what brought out the most recent caution with Connor Mozak. Showcraft Jr. is the 38 behind him.
It's hard to tell what started that. See the damage on the 38.
Field 2x2 as you see Connor Mozak climbing out of the 24. Riley Herbst is on the inside, and Ty Gibbs on that outside line with John Hunter Nemechek behind him. Cole Custer is behind.
Green flag back in the air. It'll be Gibbs leading the field to the green once again on the outside of that front row. Both the SHR Fords on the bottom trying to work together. Of course, they are on 4 fresh Goodyears from that pit stop during the Stage 1 break, and the 2 cars to the outside stayed out and are on slightly older tires trying to keep track position. Big loose moment for Josh Berry, who slipped up into the outside lane. May have had contact from Chandler Smith in the 16 underneath him. Both cars definitely out of the gas as they're losing momentum, and a big gap now built up between about the 7th and 8th place race cars into turns 3 and 4. Gibbs will lead the first green flag lap following the restart this time. Herbst is still in third right in front of his teammate Custer. They couldn't get by either one of those two Joe Gibbs Toyotas in front of him. Get a little heat in those tires and we'll see if they'll be able to make the moves here in the coming laps. This could be huge for Riley Herbst if he can get a top 5 finish in Stage 2, as he came in just 25 points above the cutoff line over Parker Kligerman, and Kligerman no longer in the top 10, or really hasn't cracked the top 10 yet in this race. Ty Gibbs trying to go to the low lane down the back straightaway, trying to break whatever sort of draft his teammate John Hunter Nemechek was getting behind him. While Nemechek just kind of stayed in line despite the fact that Herbst and Custer were not that far behind the 20. Just trying to keep their speed up. Again through the tri-oval, Gibbs going down the racetrack, taking the shorter route. And of course, mainly just trying to break the draft. Justin Allgaier in 5th place in the draft hit 201 miles per hour going into turn 1 that last time by. It'll be even quicker in the Cup Series race tomorrow. If I remember from last season, I'm pretty sure the Cup cars are going like 206 to 208 going off into turn 1 at times. It will be a very, very fast race, of course, from a speed standpoint during the green flag runs. Haven't seen a lot of those green flag runs in today's race, but it is interesting. Potential rain in the area as well, which I did not realize. It's not raining here, so I didn't think that was going to be a threat at all today. It may stay to the south, and that could be the reason for why this has been as aggressive of a race as it has been so far. To make this race official, we do have to get to the halfway point and or the end of Stage 2. The end of Stage 2, which would be lap 60, is what we're racing to make this thing official this afternoon. Parker Kligerman sliding up the track again. He was in the bottom lane behind a bunch of cars in front of him, and he just cannot get the front of his race car to stay glued to the racetrack. So definitely not great handling conditions in traffic for that 48 car, Parker Kligerman, in the early going. He needs to get something going so he doesn't fall too many more points below the cutoff line. Sheldon Creed still dropping back on the restarts. Remember, he took right sides only. He's not maintaining his track position quite like the Joe Gibbs cars, who didn't take tires at all and stayed out after topping off on fuel during the second to last yellow of Stage 1. And as a result, now Creed is going to get passed by Brandon Jones for 10th, and Creed's not going to get any stage points, which is going to be good for Kligerman, who came in 22 points behind him, and currently is sitting 25 behind him as we run. So net loss of 3, but we still have a lot of laps left in this race. Lap 48 at the start-finish line right now, and 13 to go in stage 2. Only a 0.2 of a second lead for Gibbs over his teammate John Hunter Nemechek, who's definitely not going anywhere. As long as he stays in the draft, he can get a good run off of him. Gibbs didn't go all the way down to the apron, or not really the apron, but even lower on the backstretch is what he was running the handful of laps before that. Last time by, he just kind of went a little bit off the wall, maybe a half a lane at the most. Through the tri-oval, he's going to cut down all the way towards the bottom near that white line. Nemechek followed him. He did not stay to the outside that time, so Nemechek had a much better run off turn 4. And now that he's closing in slightly on Ty Gibbs, he wants to stay in the draft as much as possible so he can potentially pounce and make a pass on him, obviously. Last time these two were nose to tail, very close. Of course, it caused that 5-car crash off turn 2 in the early laps. Nemechek maybe going to race the 19 car a little bit more straight up right now and not as aggressive, especially in stage 2, considering he made that mistake early. Both cars still in the race and still obviously have a shot to win, considering where they're at in the running order right now. Creed's still going backwards. It's unbelievable how far that car had fallen back. Now, granted, he was running 16 positions lower than where he restarted, which would have been 3rd on that last restart. That's how many spots he gained on pit road, taking just the right sides only when they were all down there. Brett Moffitt going to pass him for 11th place. Hasn't fallen all the way back, giving up all 16 spots he gained, but not in position for stage points, which is what matters. Got to be running in the top 10, especially, again, considering where he's at in points. Nemechek just a little bit closer to Ty Gibbs' back bumper that time as across the start-finish line. 10 laps to go in stage 2. Gibbs all the way to the bottom in the middle of the corner. Nemechek going to do the same. Your top 5, Ty Gibbs in the lead. John Hunter Nemechek 2nd. Riley Herbst 3rd. Cole Custer 4th. And Justin Allgaier is in 5th place. Headed to commercial break right now, but it'll be a NASCAR nonstop commercial break if you're watching live on NBC or your local NBC affiliate is where you can watch today's Xfinity race. We'll keep our live commentary coverage going. With that being said, and we'll go through a full field running order rundown during this commercial break as well. I'll try to go as quick as I can with the leaderboard scrolling across the top of the screen still. Gonna wait for it to get back around to the leaders. So again, Ty Gibbs in the race lead currently. John Hunter Nemechek is 2nd. Riley Herbst in 3rd. Cole Custer is sitting 4th. In 5th place is Justin Allgaier. Sam Mayer in 6th. Austin Hill 7th. Josh Berry in 8th place. 9th place is Brandon Jones. Chandler Smith in 10th. Brett Moffitt 11th. And Sheldon Creed is 12th place now. In 13th is Anthony Alfredo. Parker Kligerman 14th. Ryan Sieg 15th. And Ross Chastain is in 16th. 17th place, Daniel Hemrick. Parker Retzlaff in 18th. Jeb Burton, his teammate, right behind him in 19th. And Kaz Grell, after his early spin, is in 20th. Kyle Weatherman 21st. Jeremy Clements 22nd. Ryan Ellis 23rd. Kyle Sieg in 24th. 25th place is Josh Williams. Jeffrey Earnhardt in 26th. Sage Karam in the 66th this weekend in 27th. And Brendan Poole is 28th. 29th is Patrick Emmerle. Blaine Perkins in 30th. Garrett Smithley 31st. Carson Hocevar still in the race in 32nd with severe damage. 33rd, Joe Graff Jr. Stephen Parsons in 34th. Dawson Cranham 35th. And Connor Bosack is 36th. 2 cars out of the race today. Mason Maggio will finish 37th. And Sammy Smith will finish last in 38th, rounding out our 38-car field. Lap 54 of 125, and currently 7 laps to go at stage 1. Eric Snyder, Ryan Jensen, thanks for tuning into the stream as well in recent laps. Anybody who I have not shouted out from the stream today, thank you for watching once again. Nemechek even closer to Gibbs' back bumper, getting into 3. Gibbs definitely chopped the 20s line off a little bit, getting into 3. A lot more aggressive with how low he entered the corner than what Nemechek was able to run. I would not be surprised if Gibbs, and really Nemechek for that matter, on the slightly older tires are starting to hold up the field, because there is a very close gap between themselves and really the top 7 or 8 cars in this lead pack. Nemechek trying to get to the outside of Gibbs, which is going to be his easiest way to be able to pass his teammate, and that is exactly what happens off turn 2. Nemechek to the lead, and Gibbs quickly back in line behind the 20. Riley Herbst gained momentum on Ty Gibbs. He's going to stay right behind him, being very patient. Allgaier, on the other hand, not patient, gets to the inside of Herbst for third. Remember, Allgaier won stage 1. He thinks he's got a race car that is going to be competitive to be able to pass those two Toyotas at the front of the field, but he's running out of laps to do so. 5 to go now in the second stage. And Nemechek quickly pulls ahead of Ty Gibbs through 3 and 4 as well, as he's got about a 4/10 of a second lead. The failed pass attempt by Allgaier opens the door up for Sam Mayer, who gets underneath his teammate. He slides sideways in the middle of the corner. Cole Custer's going to get to the outside of the 1-3 wide off turn 2 as Hill goes to the bottom. The 8 car, Josh Berry, going to chase the 21 down the racetrack as Hill simultaneously blocks Berry, as well as he clears both Custer and Mayer down the backstretch into turn 3, and Hill now moves up to 5th place. Big save by Sam Mayer, who had a handful in turns 1 and 2 with a loose race car underneath his teammate Justin Allgaier after trying to make the pass for 4th. He now falls back to 7th place. Brandon Jones trying to get into contention after qualifying further behind his 3 JRM teammates. He has now caught them in the pack. Running in the top 10 currently, Jones is in 9th. Riley Herbst staying right in front of that 7 car of Justin Allgaier for the time being. And the 3 cars of Gibbs, Herbst, and Allgaier are definitely losing Nemechek. Nemechek a little bit quicker than his teammate Ty Gibbs, who may have just a slight bit more damage from the same incident both that Gibbs and Nemechek were in, and that could be causing a big difference in the handling between the 19 and the 20, allowing for Nemechek to be slightly quicker than Gibbs. Side by side for third at the start-finish line. Herbst all the way to the apron, just trying to stand that right rear corner panel of Allgaier's race car, who was getting away from the side draft. Slingshot move now into turns 1 and 2 for Allgaier. He slides up the racetrack, trying to take the line away of Herbst, who stays to his outside again, and this could cost Allgaier a couple positions. Big momentum from behind by Austin Hill, Cole Custer. Allgaier still on the bottom lane. He carries more speed in with obviously having the slower momentum down the backstretch, and that allows him to get past the 21 of Austin Hill. And now Josh Berry to the inside of Custer. Custer goes to that white line in the tri-oval, trying to side draft the 8, pull him back, which was the same move Herbst did to try and stay to the outside of Allgaier, which allowed for Herbst to remain in the 3rd place position. Herbst trying to gain ground about a full lane wider than the 19 of Gibbs in front of him. Allgaier quickly pulling away from Austin Hill after he got back around him with a great crossover move. Allgaier again to the bottom of Riley Herbst, carries so much speed through the center of the corner. Is he going to be able to clear both of them? He does! What a move by Justin Allgaier as he passes 2 cars at the same time that were now running side by side, which makes the move even more impressive. Now he's trying to block on the front stretch on Gibbs for 2nd. He's going to do so successfully. He's going to be too far back to catch Nemechek here as we're on the final lap of stage 2, just getting off of turn 2 now. Herbst trying to get by Gibbs. He's got a land rush coming in behind him with Austin Hill, Cole Custer, Josh Berry, and others. Hill to the inside of Herbst for 4th as they enter turns 3 and 4. Austin Hill going to try to clear him. Didn't carry that much speed going in. Slides up the racetrack. Tight moment there for Herbst. He lifts behind the 19 in the dirty air. May allow Austin Hill to be able to beat Herbst back to the line. 3 wide, almost 4 wide, as it will be Ty Gibbs, who remains in the 3rd place position. John Hunter Nemechek will win stage 2 at Michigan. Justin Allgaier in 2nd. Ty Gibbs 3rd. Did not see who was in 4th there. It looked like Riley Herbst would have been 4th, Austin Hill 5th, Cole Custer 6th, Josh Berry 7th, Sam Mayer 8th, Brandon Jones in 9th. And I did not see who was in 10th as they crossed the start-finish line to end the 2nd stage. The race will be official if we do see rain, as we have made it to the end of stage 2 of today's Cabo Wabo 250 at Michigan. Potentially the final pit stops of the race coming up if we do see as many cautions as we've seen so far today in the final stage. They could definitely make it on fuel to the end. If we don't see a lot of yellows, this will be the 2nd to last stop. Interested to see what the strategy will be, considering the no tires helped out for John Hunter Nemechek as he wins in stage 2. This is, let's see, check the points. Stage win number 5 on the year for Nemechek. So Allgaier finished 2nd in stage 1, led every lap of the first stage at that. And then stage split between laps led Nemechek and Gibbs, but Nemechek gets the playoff point. Of course, Gibbs not racing for points in the Xfinity Series this season anyway, but still didn't quite get it. 5th stage win of the year for Nemechek and the 8th of the year for Allgaier when he won stage 1. Those two both in contention for that regular season title, with Hill not running that far behind him. Yep, 65 laps to go. Yep, yellow is out for the stage 2 break, which I believe would make this the 9th caution of the race, and that is the longest green flag run we have seen so far today. Ty Gibbs is in the Jesus car. Got about 100 people watching. Be sure to hit that like button if you haven't done so yet. We're halfway through the race nearly, and we are just halfway to our goal of 100 likes. 53 likes have been entered so far. So again, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. We'll take a quick break, and then we'll have pit stops on the other side. You're listening live on KRC to the Cabo Wabo 250 at Michigan. Still waiting for the live leaderboard to come up on NASCAR's website right now. We are about halfway through the race, and we still don't have a raw feed available. It's got to be longest into the race percentage-wise that we have gone without a live leaderboard this year. Usually it's up before the end of stage 2, but we've hit this point. We still don't have anything for you guys, so doing what I can. Now it's showing lap 24. We just got to the end of stage 2, so that is not it. Well, that was probably the stage 1 results. So Chastain was 9th in stage 1, Ryan Sieg was 10th. Austin Hill was 8th, Sam Mayer 7th, Riley Herbst 6th, Riley Herbst 5th, Randy Jones was 6th, Chandler Smith 4th, Cole Custer 3rd, Josh Berry 2nd, and of course Allgaier won the stage. So still dealing with issues there. It's improvement. It's not saying that the race hasn't started yet, but it's still about 40 laps behind. Pit road will be open this time for the leaders.
Are not going to be an issue as far as everybody back on an equal field.
Oh, Allgaier spins into the pits.
Getting a tap from another car spinning onto pit road. That is absolutely going to be devastating for that team. Justin said it was way too free. They were looking to make an adjustment. This is going to totally change the complexion of their pit stop and their race. And you see Ty Gibbs in the middle there. He said it was tight through the center and all the way off the corner as Justin finally gets in his box and the crew could start service, Marty.
An impressive 360 there for Justin Allgaier. I think if you'd have told John Hunter Nemechek and Ben Bayshore they would win stage 2 after they spun on lap 11, they would have taken that. He said the car is pretty good, just need a little bit more turn late in the run, and they hold serve here on pit road. John Hunter Nemechek, Joe Gibbs out front after coming in with the lead as well, Rick.
Yeah, you see the race off.
So Justin Allgaier, who was running in second place, leaving the pits, spins. And Riley Herbst's going to get 2 spots gained on pit road. He'll come out in second. I noticed he was a lot quicker than Austin Hill leaving pit road, so we'll have to wait to see what the reading is there for Herbst. Hopefully there is no pit penalty, but definitely a costly issue there in the pits for Justin Allgaier. It looked like he got tagged from Ty Gibbs from behind as he was braking to try to enter his pit box. Gibbs gets into him, turns him around, and he didn't slide perfectly into the box either, so he actually had to whip back around and then drive into his box. And Allgaier now going to be at the tail end of the lead lap, it appears, before we start stage 3. After winning stage 1 and finishing second at stage 2, looks to be the fastest car in the field on 4 fresh tires, and unfortunately we're going to have to see him come from deep once again. And I'm expecting there to be one more pit stop yet in this race, although it is not guaranteed, depending on how many cautions we see, considering we have had quite a few already in this race thus far. finish well, you must first finish. This is very true. We are at the end of Stage 2, so we have our Stage 2 diecast showing, so I'll run to my closet real quick, and I'll pick a random diecast out for you guys to see. 124 scale. I don't know which one to show because I've showed them all so far. Oh, I know. Hang on. I know one I could show. I just showed it a few weeks ago, but it's fitting for this weekend. Okay, so change of plans. I was struggling to find the diecast I was looking for. I was looking for the Ryan Blaney Michigan race win diecast from 2021. Only race I've ever been to where Ryan Blaney had ever won. Of course, with this being Michigan race weekend, I wanted to show that diecast. Unfortunately, it must have been in the bottom tote. It was not in the top tote sitting there. Even though I just showed that diecast off a couple weeks ago on stream. We've run through the gauntlet of all my 124 scale diecasts, so kind of going back through them again. Because I couldn't find that one, I figured I would just grab the closest Ryan Blaney one that was on the top shelf, and I haven't showed this one in a while. This is the same paint scheme he ran during the 2018 season, of course, famously winning at the inaugural NASCAR Roval race at Charlotte. So 2018 diecast here for Ryan Blaney. It doesn't have the emojis on it, so it's not a race win diecast, but I didn't like the emojis on the side skirts of the race car anyway in front of the numbers, so this one much cleaner looking. A lot of fans don't like this Pennzoil paint scheme, which I was quite surprised because this was probably my favorite paint scheme of Blaney's from that year, not because he won the race, but honestly I thought it was my favorite of them. And yeah, a lot of fans didn't like it, and I don't know why, honestly. I like it. I'm not biased to Ryan Blaney either. I mean, there might be a little bit of bias that I'm not admitting, I guess, that could be possible, but I'd like to think I'm the most unbiased NASCAR fan that I know, at least. One of the few NASCAR fans I know at that. Green flag is back in the air. Stage 3 is underway as the field rushes through turns 1 and 2. John Hunter Nemechek's going to come out with the race lead. Austin Hill is up to second place just behind him. Riley Herbst trying to give him a little push. 3 wide, further back, just outside the top 10. Couple of the colleague cars, Chandler Smith and Ross Chastain, are in that battle. Near contact as one car slid up in front of another in the middle of turns 3 and 4. Single file through about the top 10 at the start-finish line very quickly. Last couple of restarts, we've seen a lot of guys jockeying for position 2 and 3 wide that first lap or two. Which we are seeing that, but we're just not seeing it at the front of the field. Justin Allgaier, who had to spin on pit road, came back down to top off there towards the end, means he was at the tail end of the lead lap anyway, trying to go to work. Probably the fastest car in the field today, still just outside the top 20. Boxed in the outside lane with cars both in front in the same lane as him, as well as just to his inside. Going to counteract that by going to the bottom underneath the 78 car now of Anthony Alfredo for BJ McLeod Motorsports. Nemechek leads the first 2 laps of Stage 3 after winning Stage 2 today. Austin Hill in second place, again, right there with him.
Tough to try to keep any momentum going up. down this back straightaway.
Yeah, even as fast as his car is, you can't clear anybody. So now he's got Jeb Burton in that 27 car. He's also on the bottom. Justin needs clean air. See a pass right here.
Yeah, I think he has a fast enough car that he can try this for a couple more corners than a lot of other guys who don't have the speed in their cars that Justin Allgaier does with this 7 car.
See the 26 of Kaz Gralla on the inside there. Going a lap down as the leaders all go around on the outside. And Austin Hill running in second place. Hadn't seen a lot of speed, not this kind of speed out of the RCR cars early in the race, but right here in position, putting the pressure on the leader Nemechek. He's right at his back door. So we see the battle of the 9 car, Brandon Jones and Cole Custer down into turn 3. But you see back there on the left side of the screen, there's your leader, and Austin Hill with some momentum down the front straightaway. The 20's going to try to break the draft. Austin don't care. He ran the top. He's already got the momentum down the straightaway. He's going to stay up there.
A lot of momentum on the side of the 21.
Just ending that poll at the end of stage 2 as well. 33% of you said that Josh Berry will win today's race. 29% voted for Justin Allgaier, 27% for other, 9% for Austin Hill, who was in second trying to put a charge on John Hunter Nemechek for the lead. Quite surprised how close that poll was, honestly. Between those top 3 votes, definitely one of the closer polls we've had in a while, especially amongst not just 2, but 3 different possible picks. So thanks for voting. 74 votes in all through that. Top 10 with 54 laps to go. John Hunter Nemechek with a close race lead over Austin Hill in second. Riley Herbst again is in third. Josh Berry fourth. Brandon Jones rounds out the top 5. Ty Gibbs in 6th. Sam Mayer 7th. Cole Custer 8th. Ross Chastain 9th. And Sheldon Creed is in 10th.
Out there. So he said the car just takes way too long to come in for Cole Custer. They're very good at the end of the run, but he gives up so much time on the beginning of the run, and that's what you're seeing right here as that battle continues with the 1 car for that 7th spot.
A lot of laps still to go as Sam Mayer still in front of the 00 of Cole Custer. Again, those guys fighting for the 7th and 8th spot. Again, Kaz Gralla in the 26 here is a lap down.
This is Allgaier trying to get around the 16 car for 12th. He's up 17 positions. He's making that bottom work. Not a lot of cars have been able to go down there and make speed, but his car's just so good.
And he's spread out.
And he's mad.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, if you're mad, that's another 10. If you get your driver fired up.
Look at Custer. He drove underneath Gibbs, and he just said, I'm not letting you get on the outside of me. If you're going to pass me, you can try it on the inside. But he just drove in there and went to the right and said, you're not getting on the outside of me. Now Sam Mayer trying to get underneath him.
Yeah, Gibbs is going to clear. Sam's going to side draft the 00, try to take a spot as well. And this is the lap before, same thing. The 1 and the 00 side by side down into 1. Sam's not going to get that position again. Learning a lot of hard lessons.
Yeah, watch Allgaier, that orange car. He's fun to watch. He's going to just drive down here, go all the way to the line, just get the throttle as soon as he can. He knows he's clear. Go ahead and get in behind this 10 car. Don't let the 2 get back on the outside of you, Kim.
And you guys heard the frustration from Justin on the radio after that incident on pit road with Ty Gibbs. What you didn't hear is the team telling him, giving him confidence in his race car. They told him, you have the best car out here. We can drive through this traffic. Eddie DeHaan, the spotter, on the radio just telling him one by one which car he needs to pick up, what these cars in front of him, what lines they're using. But they absolutely think it is still a race they can win with 51 to go here at Michigan.
Well, maybe frustration is a good fuel for Allgaier because he was frustrated, said he was going to be able to drive back up here, and already he's running 9th, and there's only 2 cars between him and Ty Gibbs on the racetrack.
Ty and Cole Custer still battling right here behind Kaz Gralla. Kaz Gralla is a lap down, but has good speed, and he's sort of got these guys checked up a little bit in dirty air.
All the way down to the yellow line for Allgaier.
He could try that, DJ, because there was no pressure from behind.
Right.
So you can go and work on the bottom. If it doesn't work, no harm, no foul, because nobody is close enough to try to jump on the outside.
You know, we've all had cars that were this good that Justin Allgaier sitting in it right now. It's a lot of fun when you can do things that others just can't, as we see Cole Custer here once again trying to make that pass. But it just allows you to be able to take some chances that, you know, others can't. They're just strictly having to do basically one thing and one thing only, and you have options.
Allgaier now trying to get by Sam Mayer. They're door to door.
Yeah, it's going to get tougher as you get closer to the front to try to make these passes, and you have to be a little more calculative of where to make the pass, right? How to get the run and the side draft to make it work for you.
Is Ty Gibbs' spotter telling him Allgaier's two back?
No, I don't think so at all. I mean, there's Allgaier already said, look, I'm just going to go blow his doors off. He's not going to go up there and try to drive through the 19 car. I don't think that's his style. And I don't think the 19 has any, he's raced Justin long enough to know that he doesn't have anything physical coming when if that 7 car actually gets back to him. Casgrow's going to move low here.
Yeah, if Justin Allgaier, sorry, Rick, if Justin Allgaier has any beef or wants any payback, it won't come today. He's got the best car here. There's no reason to take any chance of any contact or anything. He might try to get him loose to make the pass when he gets up there, but this is not the day to be worrying about that. Passing him is all that you want to do, and all that you have on your mind is going to the front.
Said he wanted to blow his doors off when he went by. Well, he's a couple positions away from fighting for that position. It's John Hunter Nemechek out in front of the field here at Michigan.
Looks like another NASCAR nonstop commercial break as of right now. We'll wait for the full leaderboard to scroll all the way through, and then I'll give you a full field running order rundown in this one. Again, our leaderboard is kind of frozen on lap 24 still, so that is not accurate. Currently, John Hunter Nemechek is the race leader, not Justin Allgaier, who won Stage 1. And then, again, Nemechek just won Stage 2. Currently at 46 laps to go at the Michigan International Speedway for this NASCAR Xfinity Series Cabo Wabo 250. And just getting to the top of the leaderboard now. So John Hunter Nemechek, again, is currently a race leader with 45 laps to go. Austin Hill is in second place just behind him, the 2 points leaders, of course. Riley Herbst in third. Josh Berry is in fourth. Brandon Jones up to fifth place. Ty Gibbs in sixth. Cole Custer seventh. And Sam Mayer is in eighth. Ninth place currently right now is Justin Allgaier. Ross Chastain in 10th. Parker Kligerman in 11th. 12th place is Sheldon Creed. Chandler Smith 13th. Brett Moffitt 14th. And in 15th is Jeb Burton. 16th place, Daniel Hemrick. Ryan Sieg, 17th. 18th is Parker Retzlaff. 19th is Anthony Alfredo and Kyle Weatherman in 20th. 21st is Kyle Sieg. Ryan Ellis, 22nd. Jeremy Clements, 23rd. Jeffrey Earnhardt in 24th. 25th place is Sage Karam. Josh Williams, 26th. Joe Graff Jr., 27th. And Stephen Parsons is 28th. 29th place, Patrick Emerly. Dawson Cram, 30th. Garrett Smithley, 31st. Blaine Perkins, 32nd. 33rd is Brendan Poole. Kaz Grella, 34th. Carson Hocevar, 35th. And Connor Mosack, 36th. And Mason Maggio, 37th. And Sammy Smith is 38th, rounding out the 38-car field. Josh Berry's got some close company right now with Riley Herbst battling for third. And actually, it was Berry who just passed Herbst on the racetrack for position. So the pole sitter, who did not lead a lap yet in this race, still sitting up in the top three positions. He was your guys' fan vote for who you wanted to win the race. And by the way, our live leaderboard has just finally updated. It took until 42 laps to go, but it is finally up and running here. So we do have our live leaderboard going for you guys right now. Take a quick ad break, and then we'll get back to the live commentary coverage. Again, you're listening to the Cabo Wabo 250 for the NASCAR Xfinity Series in Michigan, live on KRC. Also, be sure to like and subscribe for more NASCAR content.
Allgaier, those two fighting for the 8th position. Allgaier's running 9th right now.
It's been fun but frustrating to watch this battle because, you know, the 7 car's got a lot more speed, just cannot find a way around. It's so hard to know how to make this pass. I mean, and it's not that it's hard to pass a car. It's easy to get up beside them, but the side draft as a defense is what's tough
to overcome. So this one car, 7's going to get underneath him down the back straightaway. He's got the momentum and the speed. Maybe this time he actually lets his teammate go, which he does. But if you wanted to, you could just side draft the 7, slow him back down, make him give that position back up.
So Allgaier got the spot, and 2 spots back is Ross Chastain. Marty, were we expecting a better performance out of this 10 car?
Well, remember they had the hole in the nose earlier, Rick. They patched that up. Ross Chastain at one point was 35th in this field, has stormed back up to the top 10, and that's kind of where the progress has stopped. So the car is better, but now it's gone the other way too tight, not turning in the center of the corner. And you got to wonder if the weather's maybe playing a part in that, Kim. Got a lot cooler here in the last 20 minutes or so.
And checking in with a driver who needed a really good day, points-wise, that was Parker Kligerman. It has just been a battle all day for him. Currently resides in the 11th position. Hasn't been able really to move forward from that. They felt like they had a top 10 car, though. We'll see what he's able to do in the last 40 laps. He missed out on stage points, though, and that is a big deal. So much so that Patrick Donahue, the crew chief, got on the radio at the end of each stage to remind Parker that there was a little frustration between the two of them. So not a great points day when you're talking stage points. The same thing for Sheldon Creed, who runs right behind Parker Kligerman in the 12th position. Creed also missing out on stage points despite a strategy call by crew chief Jeff Stanklitz at the end of stage 1 to take 2 tires to get track position. They were just not able to maintain throughout stage 2. Ended at stage 13th. So again, no stage points for Parker Kligerman or Sheldon Creed, who were desperate for a good points day based on where they stack up in the playoff grid.
Yeah, Kim, the bubble battle has changed 1 point, really. From the start of the race, Kligerman was 22 points back. Now he's only 21 points back. But a change up front, we saw Josh Berry get by Austin Hill for that second spot. 1.5, now 1.6 seconds back from John Hunter Nemechek. And Berry looked to have the best car this weekend when we saw practice and qualifying. Does he have anything for him late in this race?
My opinion was that the 20 was the best car, and the 19 was good as well. But Josh was a third on my list. Now that he's clear of the 21, I don't see, at least the last lap time by, who's not as fast as the leader, Nemechek, but this time a little bit quicker, but just barely. The fastest car on the racetrack in the last few laps has been a toss-up between the 19 of Gibbs in 6 and the 7th car of Justin Allgaier in 7. Those two running really quick laps, trying to run down these guys right here.
You know, you show that point battle, and yes, the points as far as cut to the bubble haven't changed that much, but what has changed is Riley Herbst. Riley Herbst says he is distancing himself from that bubble last week. He did a great job, got into a wreck, not of his making, still came back and finished 4th. This week, stage points in both stages. And Riley Herbst, DJ, I believe Riley Herbst is the most improved race car driver on the racetrack today. He is learning these lessons and applying them. He's not making mistakes. We saw earlier he could have gotten aggressive. He didn't. He got those stage points. He knows he has work to do. And I know Parker's a good road racer. I understand that, but so is Riley Herbst. It's going to be hard to knock Riley out of these playoffs.
Right now, we're on the longest green flag run we've had of this race, 22 laps. And Steve, from down there on the Peacock pit box, we need to still stop again for fuel, correct?
Yeah, I believe the leaders are going to need fuel somewhere between 20 and 15 to go, 17 to go. So the question will be, is it an automatic 4-tire change? Will anybody gamble on 2? I think you need to be close enough to the leader for 2 tires to work. See if you can leapfrog them. You see 26 laps since the last pit. Then we expect them to be able to go about 46 to 48 laps on fuel.
Good battle here, continuing for second as Austin Hill got back to the door of the 8 of Josh Berry.
Yeah, that was a good race. And I would say, if Steve talked about the strategy of a green flag pit stop, my concern is what is the driver going to do? The Xfinity Series does not have a lot of green flag stops. Let's go back and watch this action. They catch the 0-2. He had some trouble. Hill tries to get underneath the 8 car. Josh Berry fights back and keeps the spot. But, you know, with limited green flag stops, the driver, you know, trying to get too much can make a mistake here and get caught on speeding on pit road. So if I'm a crew chief and I got an Xfinity driver, I'm already talking to him. Hey, we might have a green flag stop. I want you to start thinking about where your braking zone is getting to pit road.
Yeah, I'm just going to throw this out there that if I were looking and crew chief of the 9 car for Brandon Jones, who needs a win to make the playoffs, do you even consider letting the other guys pit first that are in front if you can hang on that long? See what they do. If they take either 2 or 4 tires, which is going to take a little bit longer, especially if they take 4, hey, I'm coming in for getting whatever gas I need and jumping out there and see if I can get out front, make them pass me.
And Kim, is there early strategy yet for the 98 of Riley Herbst? Are they thinking about a pit stop?
Haven't heard anything yet. They do have tires kind of leaning against the wall, but there's no sense of urgency in terms of a near pit stop. But you guys were talking about what a great race Riley has had, and I talked to him this morning about where his head at, and is he paying attention to what other teams around the elimination line are doing? He said no. He said, absolutely, I cannot get wrapped up in points. It's a distraction for him. So worrying about what other teams are doing isn't going to make my performance any better. He said, it isn't going to help me at all, so I can only focus on my race. That's what he's doing here today, currently running in the 4th position. He said that car is good at 1 and 2, but really tight all of a sudden in 3 and 4.
So Riley Herbst running in the 4th spot. In front of him, Nemechek and Barry. The gap 1.8 seconds between 1 and 2.
There you have it, a 1.8 second lead for John Hunter Nemechek, and we are getting close to green flag pit stops, which would be the final pit stops of the race today at Michigan. 32 laps to go currently right now. The increment is actually 2.2 seconds as of the start-finish line that last time by for John Hunter Nemechek. Josh Berry in 2nd place. Austin Hill is 3 seconds off the lead in 3rd. Riley Herbst is in 4th place at 3.3 seconds off the race lead. Brandon Jones is 4 seconds off the lead in 5th. Ty Gibbs is in 6th place, 4.1 seconds back. Justin Allgaier just behind him at 5 seconds off the lead in 7th. Cole Custer in 8th place, 7.6 seconds off the lead. Sam Mayer is 9.1 seconds back in 9th. And Parker Kligerman rounds out the top 10. He is 10.6 seconds off the race lead right now. This is going to be our final ad break of the race today. You're listening live to the Cabo Wabo 250 for the NASCAR Xfinity Series at Michigan. Be sure to hit the like button, guys. Only 60 likes right now. We are 40 away still from our goal. Please hit that like button down on the stream. We got to get to our goal here. We did not get to it during the Xfinity race last week on the channel, so let's make sure we get to that here today. And we'll take you to the finish of this one. Again, this is our final ad break of the race. Pretty close battle still going on right now between Austin Hill and Riley Herbst on the racetrack as they battle for 3rd. Both going down the front stretch near that white line, side drafting each other, and they'll continue to do so all the way back up near the wall as well. Very little room for error. Herbst dives it back down to the bottom of the racetrack on that yellow line through turns 1 and 2. Can't get the rotation off the center he needed, and Austin Hill has him cleared off the exit of turn 2 now. 3 cars slowly closing in from behind would be Ty Gibbs, Justin Allgaier, Brandon Jones, and in fact it was Allgaier who just passed Gibbs for position, I do believe. Sam Mayer will be the first on the pit road in the back half of the top 10. Changing right side, Chandler Smith is also on pit road. Smith going to go with 4 tires. I'd imagine the same will be for Sam Mayer. They are changing left sides now, so both Mayer and Chandler Smith taking 4 tires with their pit stops. And now the Brandt number 7 Chevrolet of Justin Allgaier is in from 7th place. Has a very fast race car, of course, as mentioned. I believe Nemechek has led the most laps in this race now. And I'll let you listen into the pit coverage.
And green flag pit stops have started here at Michigan International Speedway. Justin Allgaier finishing up his stop. 4 tires, Sunoco Phil. He said he is really loose and dirty air, no front grip. As you see more cars making their way down pit road, Marty.
Ty Gibbs going down pit road. He flashes by Cole Custer. Said the car just way too tight for Custer. He lost a lot of spots during that run. We'll see where all these guys cycle out as green flag stop start. Sam Mayer, by the way, also running in the top 10. Really started this green flag cycle a couple of laps ago.
And the 8 of Josh Barrett, little trouble there on the right rear. Maybe a slower stop than we were expecting during this green flag cycle. They were saying, be careful running the high line. You are right on the edge, Marty.
John Hunter Nemechek, the leader, comes to pit road here. They have had an incredible day after spinning on lap 11. Stage 2, so the car really good. What he needs is just a little bit more turn. 3 and 4 is what was really good for him. You see Austin Hill on pit road as well. Josh Berry leaving pit road, and Ross Chastain leaving pit road as well, Kim.
As Riley Herbst making his stop, he said he's good in 1 and 2, just really tight all of a sudden in 3 and 4. right side Goodyear tires going on. A little air pressure adjustment for Riley there. Sunoco Fuel as they put those left side tires on. Marty, it looks like Austin Hill coming down pit road.
Big issue for the 21, trying to get on pit road, really slowed into his box, slow out of his box, Marty.
I don't know what gear I'm in. I think it's fourth. I think that's the only gear I have.
There you go. They have gear issues, transmission issues on Austin Hill. A game happened when he tried to leave pit road. He said he thinks he only has fourth gear, and that's what happened. And now Justin Allgaier coming down pit road.
And Justin Allgaier having to serve a pass-through penalty. Already made his stop earlier, so a detrimental day to what was a very, very fast race car.
Crew member over the wall too soon. The Xfinity Series doesn't see a lot of green flag pit stops, so they have to be perfect. And there was a problem with the 7 team not being perfect on their pit stop, and so the pass-through penalty. Watch here as a crew member will jump over too soon. So unfortunate there for the 7 team who looked extremely fast, but now the lap's winding down as far as the opportunity to make up for that mistake.
Yeah, pit road, the spin on pit road earlier, and then this penalty on the pit crew. Between the two things, the fastest car on the racetrack, unless something crazy happens, he is not going to have a chance to win this race. You have to minimize mistakes. Xfinity races are much shorter than Cup races, and you just so difficult to overcome them.
Allgaier had fought his way back up inside the top 10, then the mistake on pit road. An issue for the 21. Austin Hill was up there battling into top 5, says now they only have high gear. After green flag pit stops have happened, a few have stayed out, Brett Moffitt being one.
He's coming on the pit road right here. Have to assume that Ryan Ellis, the rest of those guys will be coming to pit road as well.
Sage Karam, Josh Williams, Joe Graff Jr.
So right here is the 20 car Nemechek, and there's the 8 of Josh Berry, which as this cycles, these will be the 2 lead cars. And they've been swapping lap times the last couple of laps on the racetrack, but Berry just a little bit quicker.
2.1 seconds was the lead that the 20 had over the 8 prior to those stops.
He's going to have to run some killer laps to close the gap and make it a race here with just a few laps to go.
Got a little bit of a drop.
Yeah, right now the same gap is there between the two, 2.5 seconds. Marty, what about the 0-0 of Cole Custer? They having some issues?
Yeah, Jeff called it green flag stops in the Xfinity Series. Cole Custer said he has a vibration. It's especially bad in the corners. And Jonathan Tonia's crew chief said, I'll leave it up to you. He thinks the left front might be loose. They think they got him all tight, but Cole says, I think something could be loose. And then he asked, how many laps to go? They said 23. He's going to try and hang on for those final 23 laps with a vibration.
That's a tough call. As a driver, DJ, you get to a point where you're like, okay, it's shaking too bad, it's getting worse, I got to pit, or you just endure it for 23 laps and hope nothing happens.
Yeah, and I think some of that time, you have to consider where you're at. I mean, we talk about the speed at this racetrack. If there is an issue, it's just really not worth the chance. You're in the playoffs, you've got a couple of wins to your credit. Just don't know if it. And hopefully Cole will make that decision if it indeed does get worse. But it only takes a split second to have a bad accident.
Nemechek now cycled into the lead in the 20 car with Josh Berry in second. Roughly 2 seconds behind, but a 10th quicker each lap. Is the 20 trying to work through some tough traffic right here.
See how much it slows down John Hunter as he has worked by some of the lap traffic. Ty Gibbs up to 3rd.
Some winners and some losers during this pit stops. Riley Herbst, we've talked about him, that good of a job he's done all day. He's lost several spots here. He did it a little bit later than some other guys. That hurt him on some speed. And then he came in and had a 16-second pit stop. So between those two things, it's basically 4 seconds that he lost. And so now he's given up 4 spots, or at least 3 spots. Let's see if he can go get them back. His car is fast, but you just can't make mistakes. And now he's running in 8th, Kligerman in 10th. There are some people that haven't pit yet. Joe Graff Jr. hasn't pitted yet. But a day where Riley Herbst could have had a top 3 or 4 finish, now he's fighting to make sure he stays in the top 8.
Yeah, the one thing it does is makes those first 2 stages to where he finished 5th and 4th even more important, and how impressive that was that he did to able to gain those points in case he's not able to get all of these positions back before the end of the race.
Riley Herbst, again, trying to gain back some ground that was lost. Berry has gained ground on Nemechek almost every lap. He's getting a little bit closer to that front.
Yeah, this last time by, almost 2/10 quicker than the 20 car. And that was in clean air for both drivers.
John Hunter Nemechek has clean air in front of him for at least a straightaway now as Josh Berry continues to chase.
This lap looks a little bit better for Nemechek.
Gibbs, Brandon Jones, 9 seconds back. Brandon Jones up here in the top 5. Not a win, obviously, for the team, but definitely something positive.
Yeah, I think it's been one of his better races all year long. He's earned points today in the stages with 7 of those. It's going to need more. And road courses are coming up as we head toward the playoffs, and that has not been Brandon Jones' strong point this year. He would like to have a yellow to have a shot at this, to be able to put himself in the playoffs.
Well, we talked about green flag pit stops and making mistakes. Here was some communication from Justin Allgaier after that last stop.
Fastest car on the track. Yeah, we might be the fastest car on the racetrack, but we're almost a lap down. We're going to have to all take a good long look in the mirror tonight when we get home, all I can tell you.
And dejected. It's a team sport, and when you have a mistake on pit road, which ends up being... Now, there are 2 guys that can be over the wall already before he gets to this box, but there are 3 that are on the ground as he comes into that stall in front of him. And I think the Jackman was trying to jump and hang in the air longer than he possibly could. And so that penalty definitely hurts the team and put them a lap down.
It's a game of inches, and sometimes it falls in your favor and sometimes it doesn't. We saw him getting on the pit road, the 19 beating him on the pit road and everything, and all of that timing can throw things off just a little bit. But there's been races too when Justin's made the mistake. This team sort of had some of the faster cars. As far as the junior motorsports, they've been, I think, a better team all year long, and each week they've been really, really fast, but mistakes. And it's not just one thing, it's a lot of different types of mistakes. And once they clean those up, I think that Justin and the team will be tough to beat, because the speed is absolutely there, and especially in the last 3 or 4 weeks, Junior Motorsports has really found something.
Yeah, they're going to want to clean them up over the next 5 races before playoffs get underway. Let's go through the field. We'll start with Marty and John Hunter Nemechek.
Yeah, Jeff mentioned it earlier, Rick, the crazy couple of weeks for John Hunter Nemechek. 2 wins, then back-to-back 34th and 32nd, and here he sits with 15 to go, maybe looking at another win this year. And when you look at the regular season points battle, it's crazy. Right now, just +7 over Austin Hill. Going to be fun to watch these final 5 races of the year, Kim.
And Josh Berry running in the 2nd position, and he was thrust into double duty this weekend, having to replace Noah Gragson in the 42 car on the Cup side. And I said, how does that affect your Xfinity Series side? And he said, it shouldn't. That's because I'm taking one thing at a time. I'm compartmentalizing each thing. I just have to keep the task in front of me. Right now, doing a great job of that, running 2nd in front of Ty Gibbs. What a rebound after getting stacked up with his teammates Sammy Smith, and John Hunter Nemechek was very frustrated with John Hunter, using that as motivation as he runs into 3rd position, Marty.
Kim, in our pre-race show, Steve said Brandon Jones is trending up. Good call by Steve on that. And JRM, we mentioned the speed that they have brought lately. He told me earlier today, he said the next couple of races, I just want to survive. I know I'm not a road course racer. The Xfinity Series has 2 in a row, but what an impressive 4th place run so far for Brandon Jones. Is that loose wheel for Cole Custer sitting in 5th getting any better? Listen on the radio.
No, man, it's only in the corners. Steering wheel, the whole hood's vibrating. Hey, boys, paddles. I don't know what to tell you, bud. I mean, I don't know if it's worth the risk or not.
As the caution comes out, yes, that's going to change things, and Cole Custer will be happy to hear that, Rick.
Patrick Emmerling in the 35. Slow on the racetrack. You see problems with that right front.
Looks like he's had some contact with the wall, obviously, but
Went the corner, blew a tire.
the tires actually look okay on the right side. I'm not sure if he's got a left front tire down that sent him up into the fence. Judging by the contact, not severe enough for a right front tire failure, so looking like maybe the left front went down.
Patrick was running in the 28th position when he got up into the wall, and so that means a restart. Take a look at what happened here with Patrick.
Yeah, that's left front tire. You see it bottoming out the splitter into the wall there.
And the first question is from the crew chiefs: are they going to pit or not? You know, is there enough speed gain in putting on new tires and giving up track position? There's 19 cars on a lead lap. Steve, I'm not so sure I could hit pit road if I'm the 20 car, but maybe back in the field you do.
Well, the problem is they don't have new tires. With only 3 sets for the day, they've put all 3 sets on. They do have perhaps cooler tires. Remember that first stage was so broken up with yellows that there is probably a lower lap set of scuffs, or probably even the same amount of scuffs. You know, these only
not worth
have
it.
16,
We've seen it
18
already
laps
this
on.
year a
Like
couple
Nemechek
times.
was
It's
on
not
pit road
worth it.
just
Put
16 laps
scuffs on.
ago. So I don't think there's any chance you come to pit road if you're the top 10 or 12 cars. To your point, Jeff, maybe back in the field, somebody like Allgaier, does he want to make an adjustment? Does he think cooler tires will fire off better? Maybe a gamble back there, but for the leaders, I think it is what you have. Now it's all about picking right and having a great restart.
And maybe a little help from behind you.
Yeah, definitely. That to what Steve said, picking right, the choose cone. That's going to matter right here, because whoever wins this race is going to need the help from behind to get clear and get down into turn one. If you can find yourself clear into turn one by that push you get from behind, and I think choosing the outside is absolutely the way to go. You box yourself, you box the car in behind you with the wall and the traffic below. And so if you choose the inside, you put yourself at risk of being taken 3 wide. The car behind you doesn't have to commit. They're going to go for the win. So I'm choosing the outside here. Josh Berry, what does he do? Does he go to the inside? Does he go to the outside and push Nemechek?
And if he does go to the inside, he potentially has his teammate in Brandon Jones behind him, and so. But you also have 2 Toyotas running nose to tail.
Yeah, you just never know. I think if you don't take the top, if I bury, I push Nemechek down into turn one, and I push him in there far. You know, and I get him up the track. I push him in there as far as I can.
You gotta take the top here, buddy.
I agree with that. That's TJ Majors, his spotter. I think if you take the bottom, then you're allowing Nemechek and Gibbs to team up.
Yep.
And they are not going to do you any favors down here into turn one. They're going to try to do everything they can to maintain that 1-2 down into 1 on the top side. So
Pit road is open now. We'll see if there are any takers that come down, maybe to put a little cooler tires on. But as Steve had mentioned, more than likely, nobody out of the top 10 is going to do it.
if you think back to Pocono, and Josh Berry was in a position to win that race, he got sent down into turn one on the restart, got pushed by Austin Hill, got loose. That ended up sending him up the racetrack, and that cost him a win. I'd think back to that and do it the other way.
Cole Custer's going to come onto pit road. He was in 5th.
Yeah, you talked about that vibration, guys. You have to imagine they're coming out pit road to check that out. Kim.
Yeah.
And Justin Allgaier, you see on the top right there, they were just going to do what the leaders didn't do at this point. Thinks probably they could have a little bit of an advantage with these tires. So 4 Goodyear tires and a little drink of Sunoco fuel, Marty.
Yeah, putting on the scuffs here for Cole Custer. You heard how bad the vibration was for him. Said literally the hood, cowl, the pedals, everything was shaking inside the car. So Jonathan Toney really said, hey, I will leave it up to you. If you want to stay out, that's fine. If you want to pit, that's fine. But that left front, you see him taking time with that. That's where the issue was. And he also wanted them to check underneath the car to make sure something was not wrong. The vibration was that bad.
Drop the jack, and Cole Custer will go back out on the racetrack. A restart with under 10 laps to go at Michigan.
Setting up for a wild finish here to the Cabo Wabo 250 for the NASCAR Xfinity Series at the Michigan International Speedway. Your top 10 during this caution flag period with 10 to go has John Hunter Nemechek in the race lead. Josh Berry will line up second on the restart. Ty Gibbs third, Brandon Jones fourth, Riley Herbst fifth. Cole Custer 6th, Sam Mayer 7th, Ross Chastain 8th, Parker Kligerman 9th, and Sheldon Creed is in 10th. So again, that will be your top 10 on the ensuing restart, coming up with probably, if I had to guess, about 8 or so laps to go, give or take. They definitely did not get the one to go signal this time by. Who would want to drink Sunoco fuel? that is very lethal. There's no way around that. I would highly recommend not drinking Sunoco race fuel. Andrew Coleman, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate anybody that has been watching throughout the course of today's race that didn't shout out. I try to shout you guys out as much as I possibly can during the course of these live commentary streams. 158 people currently watching. Appreciate that. Hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. Again, our goal is 100 likes, guys. We have over 160 people watching now. Be sure to hit that like button. Subscribe for more daily NASCAR content if you're new. We're on the road to 5,000 subs as we take you to the finish of this NASCAR Xfinity Series race. We're still 33 likes away from our goal, so let's get there as soon as we possibly can. Coming up on 8 to go this time by. I don't believe they'll be going green this time either, so 7 laps left, if not less than that. Should have most of the cleanup done from that single car incident. Took place when Patrick Emerly ended up in the outside wall. I believe in turns 1 and 2, which was where we saw Mason Maggio blow a tire and hit the wall at a similar impact very early in the race. That was back at stage 1, and that was after he had damage from an earlier incident before that even. This one, though, not sure what caused a potential tire to go down there, but whatever the case was, it is another caution in today's race. And we've seen a plethora of yellows through this one. That was our 7th caution. Feels like we had more. 4 of them were in the first 30 laps at stage 1. And then lap 38, we had a 5th caution that came out. And then we had the stage 2 break at lap 60. And that was a long green flag run there of nearly 60 laps. Actually, about 50 to 55 laps. Definitely the longest green flag run of the race so far. And it'll be very interesting to see what this restart will bring. So they're doubling up right now. Ty Gibbs will actually be on the inside of row 1 to his teammate John Hunter Nemechek. Earlier in the race, Nemechek got in the back of the 19, so I don't know that Gibbs is necessarily going to race his teammate with a whole lot of respect here. It looked like Gibbs was pretty upset with the move that Nemechek pulled back in the early going. Needless to say, though, both cars are in contention on the front row for the restart. Here's Marty Snyder with Nemechek's crew chief, Ben Bayshore.
Yeah, I think you're going to, as wide as this track is, as many lanes, this could get pretty interesting, but I got a lot of confidence in John Hunter to go get the job done in this Mobil 1 Supra and hopefully bring it home here. Any chance you'll ask the 19 for help here? Yeah, I think their beef's squashed, and now the pay window's open. I hope they work together here, so yeah. It'll be fun to watch John Hunter Nemechek with an incredible rally. Can he close it out for another win here in 2023?
And Marty, what you were referencing earlier, there was a disagreement.
Yeah, I was just talking about that disagreement that Rick Allen was just about to get to over the broadcast. And Nemechek got in the back of Ty Gibbs. It was a second incident that happened very early in this race. That took place all the way on lap 10. In turn 2, just about a lap and a half or so after a restart. And ended up taking Sammy Smith out of the race, which was the 3rd GGR car, but the other 2 obviously still in it, so you only wonder where Sammy could have been. Maybe he would be up in contention as well. Josh Berry, who was second when the caution came out, will actually be on the outside of row 1. Similar lap times to that of race leader John Hunter Nemechek for about 10 laps or so before the yellow. So we'll see what he can do. Green flag back in the air. Nemechek is easily clear at the start-finish line. Great restart. Gibbs has to go down to try to block on Ross Chastain, who takes it 3 wide underneath the 98 and the 9 as they enter turn 1. Chastain is going to not quite be able to clear Riley Herbst. Brandon Jones with a pretty good run on the outside will get alongside Gibbs. Near contact now between Chastain and Herbst off of turn 2. They're breaking a lot of momentum. And I believe there's a 3rd car down there trying to go 3 wide into 3 on the bottom lane. 3 by 3 in the back half of the top 10 to just beyond that as they race off of turn 4. Battle for the lead at the front of the field going on between John Hunter Nemechek and Josh Berry. 4 wide now further back in the pack off turn 4 as they fan out on the front stretch. Berry looking for a run as we have 6 laps to go, and Brandon Jones, who may be in a must-win situation to make the playoffs, is starting to close on the 2 cars ahead of him in that 3rd place position. The highest in the running order that Brandon Jones has been all day. Both him and Berry have not led a lap. Nemechek, who has led the most and dominating the second half of the going right now, is trying to get himself out ahead, breaking the draft on the back straightaway as he goes to the inside before accordioning back to the top and arcing his corner off going into turns 3 and 4. Still a lot of cars, 3 wide, just outside the top 15 it appears. Most of the field single file in the top 10 as they got spaced apart pretty quickly on the restart. Berry trying to stay close to John Hunter Nemechek. Nemechek looking for his 5th win and to potentially take the points lead back away from Hill, who took the lead away from Nemechek after Nemechek crashed out early at Road America last week. Brandon Jones may be a little bit quicker than these 2 cars. He is closing that gap down on Josh Berry. Berry running about a lane lower than the 20 car, and Jones going up into that traction compound in 3 and 4, and actually looks like he may have given up a little bit too much time trying to go a little bit wider than everybody else as that traction compound doesn't seem to be activated. We haven't seen a whole lot of cars try to run up there throughout the course of the race today. Top 2 cars going to get their right side tires in that compound, while Berry's going to go with all 4 down below. Berry lifts off the exit of turn 2 as he lost a lot of ground to Nemechek, and here comes Brandon Jones for second as he looks to the inside. Now he's just going to bump trap Berry. He almost knocked him into the fence going into turn 3 as they battle for second. All that did was slow both cars down, and Nemechek's got a nearly 3/4 of a second lead as they come to 3 to go at the line. Jones to the inside of the 8 car. It looked like Jones hesitated, didn't really know if he wanted to pull out or just push the 8, and he decided to push him, but he didn't have the bumper squared, and it almost turned Berry going into turn 3. Lack of judgment there from Jones really costed both JRM Chevrolets. It definitely cost them both time. Luckily, they are still in second and third at least, although Ty Gibbs is now starting to close behind, and Sam Mayer looking for back-to-back top 5s as he is in 5th, the 3rd Junior Motorsports Chevrolet in the top 5, but none of them are leading. It is John Hunter Nemechek out in front off turn 4 as they come for 2 laps to go. Nemechek is a 1.2 second lead over Josh Berry. Brandon Jones a 2.5 back in 3rd. Ty Gibbs is 4th, 1.8 seconds back, and Sam Mayers 1.9 seconds off the lead. A close 3 to 4 car battle for second, but that battle for the race win is no longer. As long as Nemechek gets to the white flag, the next flag will end the race, whether it's the yellow or the checker, as he has completely checked out on the rest of the field. A dominating performance today for John Hunter Nemechek. He will go on to lead 65 laps, assuming this thing ends under regulation, which it appears to be headed that way. Justin Allgaier came back to pit road to take scuffs, put it on the race car, so he lost a little bit more track position there in the late going. Maybe a car that could have competed with Nemechek from speed, but whether it was the pit penalty or the unfortunate circumstance with the contact on pit road between Ty Gibbs and Justin Allgaier that took him out of it, we'll never know if he would have had a shot in this final stage. We do have a car in the wall in turns 1 and 2. 1 lap to go, sponsored by Credit One Bank, by the way. So going into turns 3 and 4 now for Nemechek on the final lap. He's going to be able to hold on. We are still green as Nemechek exits turn 4. Chandler Smith trying to limp his car back to the start-finish line. And John Hunter Nemechek will pick up his 5th win of the season as he captures the checkered flag at MIS. Josh Berry ends up 2nd, Brandon Jones 3rd, Ty Gibbs 4th, and Sam Mayer rounds out the top 5. Riley Herbst finishes 6th, Ross Chastain with the top 10 in 7th, Parker Kligerman with a great run in 8th, Parker Retzlaff another great run in 9th, and Jeb Burton 10th. Both Jordan Anderson Racing Chevrolets getting top 10s there on that final restart. Great run. Beating out points leader Austin Hill finishes 11th. Sheldon Creed, his teammate, just behind him in 12th. Ryan Siegel finished 13th. Justin Allgaier back in 14th, unfortunately. Daniel Hemrick finishes 15th today. Cole Custer 16th. Brett Moffitt 17th. Anthony Alfredo 18th. Kyle Sieg 19th. And Chandler Smith, with the damage there at the end, was the last car in the lead lap, finishing in 20th. Kaz Gralla 21st. Josh Williams 22nd. Ryan Ellis 23rd. Jeffrey Earnhardt ends up 24th. 25th place is Sage Karam. Jeremy Clements 26th. Joe Graff Jr. 27th. Dawson Cram 28th. Brennan Bull 29th. And Garrett Smithley will finish in 30th. 31st, Stephen Parsons. Carson Hocevar 32nd. Blaine Perkins 33rd. Patrick Emerling 34th. 35th, Kyle Weatherman. Connor Mosack 36th. 37th, Mason Maggio. And Sammy Smith rounds out the 38 car field today. 2 hours and 3 seconds total time of today's race. almost 2 hours flat to the second. 121.31 miles per hour was the average race speed, 7 cautions. We did finish under the 250-mile, 125-lap regulation. And John Hunter Nemechek, your race winner, gets the Stage 2 win. He leads the most laps, again, 65 of the 125 laps led today, just over half the race. And then Justin Allgaier, who won Stage 1, led the first 32 laps of the race before giving that time up on pit road and on pit strategy there at the end of Stage 1. A spin and win for John Hunter Nemechek. And a recapture of the points lead once again going in to next week's race at Indianapolis. Still burning it down on the front stretch right now. And you'll get to hear from your race winner, John Hunter Nemechek. Very brief post-race here. You'll get to hear from Nemechek, and then I have to end the stream as I have to head up to Detroit for SummerSlam. It is starting in about 2 hours and 15 minutes, and I live like 50 minutes south, so I got to get going here shortly. But here is Nemechek first.
Just a moment as he climbs out. Pulls the gloves off as he's pulling the hat off. Kim, I believe you've caught up with the winner here in Michigan.
And what a big win it is. 200th Xfinity Series wins for JGR. And he sets himself apart from the field with his 5th win on the season. Wow. Can you believe it? Your team told you you made a win out of that. They referenced the early race incident. You rebounded. You survived a late race restart. How'd you do it?
A great team, and man, I'm grateful for this whole 20 bunch. Grateful for Joe Gibbs Racing, this opportunity. Mobile One, Pi Barker, all of our great partners that help us get to the racetrack. And our Toyota GR Supra was as fast as Xfinity 10G today. But I have to apologize to Ty. I've been the one that's been very vocal about teammates here recently, and I put him in a bad aero spot, got him loose, and then couldn't check up. And it's my mistake, so I hate that we both spun early, but at least we both rebounded decently. I know he's not too happy with me, so he has every right not to be, but thankful for my team, all the guys. Win number 5 after the last 2 weeks. We said that we needed to come out here and answer, and we were able to do that today here in Michigan, and man, what a great crowd. This is awesome. Thank all you fans for coming out. Appreciate it. Taylor and Aspen are actually at home, so I'll see them when I get home, but hopefully at the start of the day today, Taylor is due any day now, so who knows, we may go have a baby tonight. That'd be awesome.
You apologized to Ty Gibbs, your teammate. What do you think the reception is going to be? He was very vocal about how you raced him.
I think that we both need to talk, and I definitely will initiate that conversation. I got to go back and see a replay too. I don't know too much of what happened. I know that he had cleared me, and I had slid up behind him, and I think when I slid, it took the air off the rear bumper. He checked up, and then I barely tapped him in the back, and then I got ran into. So just chain reaction of events, and probably shouldn't have put myself in that situation. Just need to be a little bit smarter, but we'll see how he receives it. Grateful to still be here and win this race, but we definitely will chat about it.
Enjoy the win.
Thank you.
John Hunter Nemechek, 5th win of the season for this team.
So again, that is your race winner. Congratulations to John Hunter Nemechek for winning today's Cabo Wabo 250 at the Michigan International Speedway. And thank you guys all for listening to our live commentary coverage of today's race. I got to get going here. Got to rush out. Thank you everybody for the coverage. Again, no live commentary stream tomorrow. I will be at the Cup race on Sunday for the NASCAR race at Michigan. So no live commentary tomorrow, but there will be race highlight videos uploaded from a grandstand view for tomorrow's race on the channel sometime late tomorrow night when I get back to my apartment following the race. Have a good rest of your Saturday night. Enjoy the Cup race tomorrow, everybody, and I will see you guys again next time.